Whenever you are, just let me know when you're starting. It's up to you. You're the runner of the show,
We're
obviously.
live.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Make sure I get my. Anyway, so hello to everybody. Hello to Darth and to Mongo and to Trap if he's still there, and to anybody who may be lurking. We welcome you, and I would like you to also say hello to my guest, Hoff.
Hey,
Hello
thank
to
you for
everybody.
having me. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this evening? I hope you're well. I am very glad to be here. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm excited to talk about some stuff.
I knew you would be, so I was like, let's do this.
I've been into stuff lately. I've been into all this stuff. I never really used to be a news guy much, but this year has just been so crazy. Like if you're not paying attention, it's gonna get you. You know.
Right? I've been slowly working people up to it over a period of a year, and so like it wasn't a huge shock that I think the way that I do, but you kind of caught everybody off guard, and so there's been like question, I'm sure, some chatter here and there, and people are like, "What's happened with Hoff? You know, he seems to kind of like getting weird. Did he like flip his wig?" I'm like, "Have you ever just woke up and realized your house was on fire? That's kind of like that. Who wouldn't fucking panic? He'll simmer.
Uh,
He'll smooth that on. Give him a. He's
I'm
getting
gonna be
caught up.
honest with you. Conspiracies is something I've always been into like my entire life. I've never been into presenting it. I was very into the stuff that we were into like last year, talking about Star Wars and all that stuff. I mean, no one was talking about conspiracy theories or anything. And the fact that a lot of them weren't even going on back then, you know what I mean? But
Or it
like,
was and we didn't realize it, and then poof, it turns
yeah,
out to be real. And you're like, you know,
the stuff I used to be into is more like UFOs and ghosts and funner stuff like that, if you want to consider that fun.
right.
But now it's just all this like crazy stuff about pedophilia and Chinese communists and vaccines that's kind of freaking me out. It's more actually affecting my personal life rather than just ghosts.
Well, it definitely gets your attention when that happens. Like, yeah, it like everything seems so far away till it's suddenly knocking on your door. And this is something I actually
Absolutely.
tried to explain to my ex-husband, my second ex-husband. But we were watching the news one day. My God, it must have been like 2010, and we were watching some stuff going on in another part of the world. And I was like, one day this stuff is going to come home to roost. And he's like, that's over there. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't always stay over there. And then as time went on, he was like, holy shit. And I'm like, told you. And he's like, he's like, yeah, welcome,
I
bro,
mean,
to the club.
the world's gotten smaller, you know what I mean? And I don't mean that physically. I don't mean like the earth has shrunk. I mean like the way everyone
Like,
is connecting with each other now, like all around the world, globally, all the time. It's just like you used to not be able to speak to someone overseas that you didn't know, and now you go on Twitter or whatever and just talk to them immediately. So I know it's
and that's,
2020. It's
and
like,
that's
oh,
good.
what
And people have camera phones, so they can get information around the world probably faster than a lot of news stations can. And
absolutely.
and that's super important because you're like seeing like I mean sometimes you only get a part of the video and that's kind of an issue, but you still get at least a general idea that something has transpired, and you're like that you might not have found out otherwise.
Exactly. And then when it hits the
Hello,
news, they
Terry.
make
How
it
are you?
completely different.
Oh, excuse me. Whew. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to kickstart. A week or so ago, I told you guys about a billionaire that had been arrested in Hong Kong because he is pro-democracy and pro-free speech, and they said that he violated their new China's new security laws. Like there's new ones. Like how do you pile more of that shit on? Like what the fuck? But he runs something called the Apple Daily, which I'm assuming is a publication. And so he has asked his employees to continue on without him, even though the government has told them to cease and desist. They did not, thankfully. In fact, they cranked it up quite a bit. It seems they went from 70,000 copies. They cranked out 550,000 copies. And apparently, on Tuesday, people were lining up to get them. So what do you think about this business? Like, I'm
Um,
kind of
I
worried this
mean,
guy's going to end up disappearing.
I just looked it up. If it's the same Apple Daily, it looks like it's a restaurant. I think that's unless I'm wrong here. No, it's a tabloid. It's okay. At first it said it was a restaurant, and now it says Apple Daily is a Hong Kong tabloid-style newspaper founded in 1995 by Jimmy Lai or Lay, I don't know. Along with the entertainment magazine Next Magazine, Apple Daily is part of Next Digital, and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's a Hong Kong newspaper, not a restaurant, like the first thing I read there. But that's what they're trying to do over there. And even here, we can get into that more here in a minute. But they're trying to just shut down all free speech whatsoever, and that's why you've been seeing all those protests in Hong Kong. And you don't really hear about that much in our media at all. They might bring it up every now and then, but it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's like as the stuff we got going on here, if not worse, you know. So these people don't have a voice. They're kind of locking down on them a lot of things, not like the virus stuff. That's not exactly what I'm talking about when I say lockdown. I just mean like they want to suppress people as much as they can, much like they are starting to do here, because they don't want the truth getting out of how sick these people are and what they're actually doing behind the scenes.
Indeed. And also, like, I'd seen a clip earlier that somebody was talking to somebody who I guess works for Google, and they were talking about people were wanting to break up Google to make them into smaller companies. And she said something along the lines of, it would make it harder for us to handle Trump-like situations if we were. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? I wonder. I wish you had expanded on that. Because I mean, I've never seen anyone try to censor a president so much ever in my life. Never has social media ever dared so censor a politician.
I've never even heard of a president getting censored, period.
Right, and it's astounding that they're actually doing that. Because, I mean, if they can censor the president, they can censor anyone. You, me, anyone. And the fact that, you know, you got to toe the line, and if you don't, you get tape across your mouth. I mean, I don't see us being far off from this right here. In fact, we're not much far off from it because, you know, except here, if someone says something we don't like or investigates something we don't like, the government just, you know, says that they were charged with something and make them look bad. Like with Julian Assange, they were saying that he had messed around with some underage girl because that's a good way to get you discredited really quick, whether he did or not. I don't see evidence of it. They don't seem that interested in it, pursuing it in that country. And the fact that a shit ton of money went to the embassy where he was hiding after they had the president change, because the president he had made the agreement with was going to allow him to stay there as long as he needed to protect him. As soon as the new one came in, he got a shitload of money from America, and that's when they sent people into the embassy to drag him out. And nobody's heard much about him since then, although apparently his health was deteriorating, and that was the last anyone.
Yeah, these last few pictures I saw of him, he looked pretty rough. He's like old and bearded. Yeah.
So it's very possible that Julian Assange is dead, and they're just not announcing it because people would freak the fuck out, or they're
they had him in a dark hole for a while, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, solitary. Yeah, because he's a danger, I guess, to people. Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I don't know if everyone agrees with me on this. Me personally, I don't think that the excuse for calling something misinformation is enough to censor it, especially if the facts are up in the air. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times, what we're seeing with stuff like coronavirus. And can I say that on your stream? I'm sorry. Is that going to demonetize or whatever?
I'm not monetized.
Okay, well, I did. Like, even if you say certain words, it'll shadow ban. It'll make it so other people can't find the video as easy. But regardless,
the virus.
It's just, they're people, like, there are actual other doctors that are saying that the information that we're being given is false. There are other means of medication, safer ways than a vaccine. And all of these people are getting discredited and censored, and it's being labeled as misinformation. But you can't prove that's misinformation any more than you can prove that what you're saying is true. So I don't think that the label of misinformation is enough to censor something unless it is an outright proven lie meant to slander or cause harm. You know.
Right. Well, they're going to use the cause harm part of that. Um, but people need to realize that one size doesn't fit all. Like one medication might work for someone else and may not work for another, but it doesn't mean it's misinformation. There's lots of treatments people use and they don't always work. I mean, I know a couple of people who are allergic to penicillin, for instance. So one size doesn't fit all. So this is
Mhm.
really, I think, a lot about money and pretty much getting a monopoly on this
It's
virus that we
100%
were
about
talking
money.
about. Oh, if they made money of, they will certainly do it. I mean, they're more worried about who's going to get the vaccine first, and they don't seem to care as much about how safe it is. I mean, even that crazy Microsoft guy said that it might not work too well. You might need 2 or 3 shots. Well, my opinion on that is if you have to do it 2 or 3 times, your product is junk. It doesn't fucking
Yeah.
work.
Also, there's like estimated 700,000 people could get sick or die from it just from like different reactions to what's inside of it. Like you said, there isn't a one size fits all sort of thing. You know.
700,000, isn't that more than, in this country than has died from it?
Yes, it is. Which is what's fun to me about that.
Well, the benefits have to outweigh the risks. If it's, I'm more likely to die from the shot
Mhm.
than the actual virus. I'll take my fucking chances.
Exactly. There's a higher percentage of that. You know.
Exactly, and that's if you die. I mean, it can mangle you up. Who knows? Because I don't know. Oh, whatever side effects can happen if you're allergic to something that happens to be in it.
Also, we're kind
Like,
of like at the age where like our immune system can kind of take coronavirus. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people around our age that have died from it. You know what I mean? So I
what I
actually
find
think I had it.
interesting is what I find interesting is for quite a while they were talking about how it wasn't really affecting kids, and just before school start, they started talking about how many kids are suddenly now affected. It's like
Okay,
they
I was just talking
suddenly
about
got
that on my
affected by
last.
it. They weren't really affected before. But
I
they're
was just
arguing
talking
whether
about
or not
that
to
on
go
my
to
last
school.
stream,
So it's
and I
like
did
what,
not
the
make
idea of
that
school
connection.
has suddenly made them more vulnerable.
We both try to be nice and stop talking, then start talking at the same time. But yeah, I didn't make that connection between the fact that school was starting up soon. You know, I don't have kids, so I don't think
Yeah,
about that.
because
But
like
I did
last
notice.
year and even early this year, like they closed the schools as a precaution, but we weren't hearing much. Now they're saying like, oh, thousands and thousands of kids are getting sick from it. Well, how sick? First off, how sick are we talking, and how many have died in that percentage? Because
I
percentages are a very funny thing. Say you got one kid who's got a virus, and then 6 more kids end up with it. You could easily say that's a 700% increase. And that sounds scary.
mhm.
But like, all right, so how many actually died from it? That legit died, not happened to have any antibodies in them, and they died of like pneumonia, and you label it a COVID death.
No, there was a 7-year-old that died recently. I believe they drowned tragically. They said it was COVID. One of the youngest people to ever die from COVID wasn't even not even related to COVID.
He drowned, and they labeled it COVID. Did
Yeah.
COVID hold his head under the water?
No. Apparently, the actual story was the kid was, I guess, like in the bath, slipped, his head, passed out, and drowned in the water. So that's the story I heard.
And I just, yeah, so I don't really understand quite how. Oh, hold on. Hello, Philip Blair. Hey, Sci-Fi Nation. Multigun. Welcome. So glad that y'all are here. Sorry, I didn't check the chat.
I want to say hey to Slasher and
Oh,
everyone
yes.
else, but I know Slasher pretty well now, so I even know
Oh,
his favorite color. Not really.
I was going to say, what? He was like, I don't think I know that. What the fuck? Although I think it's dark colors, like dark gray, dark thick black. You know. Yeah. I think he likes dark colors. But anywho, so, ladies and gentlemen, they say that corona may be spread further than 6 feet, which I'm pretty sure we kind of knew, give or take, because I don't think it stops right at the 6 foot mark and just drops dead. So we didn't really, you know. And it's much worse indoor spaces with poor ventilation. So it really sounds like maybe getting outside in your front lawn and getting some fresh air might actually be a good idea instead of that hunkering and hiding in your house like you're afraid a bomb's going to go off. So I think that's interesting. They're saying this, even though they're telling people to like, stay indoors and not go out and this and that.
In Australia, it's illegal for them to leave their homes. In some areas of Australia, they can't even leave. There's video footage of police like tackling people who've left their homes, arresting them. It's insane. But if this is true, what they're saying, then they're not helping themselves at all. And apparently Australia doesn't even have that many cases of it. They're pretty low on the cases, but they're more locked down than most of the other countries in the world.
Well, they're probably going to say they have low numbers because of that. And I mean, it could have a part of it, but there's other issues to consider. But the fact that, having some fresh air, I mean, there was an article a while back asking if it was okay to have your windows open during a coronavirus. I'm like, well, unless you got people coughing in your window, I assume it's okay, like.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when people think it's way worse.
150 years ago, where they would, close the curtains and close the windows because they were afraid the bad humor that caused disease would get in the windows. Like, are we gonna start leeching people for the common cold next? I mean, good Lord, people.
Also, if you're not going outside, you're not getting that vitamin D from the sun, which is making your immune system even weaker. So it's really, you're killing yourself if you're staying in like that, all the time.
Yeah, you get yelled at if you go out and sit down on your front porch, but everybody going into Walmart, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's no logic. There's no logic involved in any of this. There's none.
Not really. I mean, some of these people make me just like, wow. Like I knew like in January this was going to be something, but I just didn't realize to what extent it was going to be. Like,
honestly, when this first started up, and they were like, "All right, we're going to wear masks in 4 weeks. It's all going to be good." Trump's like in April, this it's going to warm up, it's going to go away. I'm like, all right, put up with it for a couple of months, and here we are.
Viruses do fine in warm weather. It's cold that usually slows them down. So
yeah,
I was like,
that's what I thought. But I was hoping he was right. But yeah, we're here in August,
I thought it was silliness, and he was only getting advice from the people who were telling him this. Like he didn't.
Oh, absolutely.
But anybody who knows anything about viruses knows that, like, if they didn't do well with warm temperatures, it wouldn't bother people because people are warm. So, like,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
To live off of.
Yeah, if they live in our bodies at 98 degrees or whatever, then obviously, I guess the temperature it was warmer. Yeah. Maybe it was just the fact of like getting out in the fresh air, which no one is actually doing. I think that might be part of the issue as well. You go to a park and they tell you can't go there, apparently. So. Fun stuff.
Ooh, why not? I want to highlight this real quick. I remember seeing that article and I forgot about that. Kawasaki's disease.
I haven't heard of that. I was going to make a bad joke, but I won't.
It's kind of obscure, but it's not impossible. But it has similar effects to like COVID. Even though that actually varies, because all the symptoms they were talking about, you might have a fever, you might not. You might have a cough. It might be dry, it might be not. So I'm like, okay, so it could be anything. It could be seasonal allergies, and I'm going to freak out thinking I'm going to die. Okay.
That's the thing. They want to make it so vague that no matter what symptoms you have, they can relate to.
Exactly. That's ridiculous. Like.
It can be as vague as drowning.
I mean, nobody freaked out like this about the swine flu, and I do believe it killed more people in this amount of time. Like, I never heard of anybody who caught the swine flu personally, but from what the statistics say, more people died of swine flu and nobody started closing shit down and freaking out. This is about an election. This is about power and fear. This is what this is about. Because this is like the opposite of Ebola. This survival rate is like 90% survivable, give or take, where like Ebola is like 95% fatal. And so this thing is the opposite of Ebola, and yet everybody's treating it like it's some kind of hemorrhagic disease.
Well, I mean, a lot of people who test positive, they don't even show any symptoms, period, at all. There's a guy I worked with, or I do work with, But this happened, I don't know, it's probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. He tested positive for coronavirus, and he did get sick, but he was sick for one day, and he was fine the day after, and that was it. And he's 52 years old. He's 52. He had coronavirus, tested positive. He was sick for one day. He's fine. He's back at work. He's doing great.
And also, we got to take into consideration whether or not it was a false positive, because there's been a lot of testing sites where people went and sort of audited it and found out that like they were having like 99 and 100% positive rates, which is just odd. And someone was realizing that like at least one of the testing sites was not 98% positive; it was 9.8% positive. And so a lot of times they're even giving people. One lady on Facebook, she had posted that they got in line to get tested and signed up, was in line. It was taking so long, and she thought it was so dumb that she just turned around and left. She gets a call 20 minutes later that she had tested positive.
Oh my God.
I was like, what? And she's like, this is the craziest shit. We didn't even get tested, and they told us we tested positive. And I'm just like,
well, that proves it right there.
It certainly doesn't help, that's for sure. Like, what a fucking circus. And when's the last time we heard of anybody dying of cancer or heart disease? Like,
yeah.
Did that suddenly stop?
The numbers have dropped, yes. For sure. They're being taken up by the COVID
numbers. The numbers dropped, or it's possible they're just labeling those deaths a COVID death instead.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant by it. Those numbers drop because they're just taking them from one category and putting them into another category is all they're doing. You know what I mean?
Because there's a huge fund that every hospital who diagnoses and treats COVID gets a chunk of that money. Which is interesting because people who do get treated for COVID and survive are billed outrageously. Like a couple of times I've seen it, it's close to $1 million. And I'm like, are you kidding? $1 million? For what exactly? And like they're double dipping basically, because they're now like not only are they getting a huge like lump of money from the government or whatever to treat the patients, but they're also billing the patients out the ass. The pharmaceutical company.
The pharma is one of the biggest issues in the world right now. Honestly, like that's one of the biggest issues.
There's not really from Congress.
There's no free market for health and medicine. It's all owned by big corporations. They won't let anyone else who has a different idea or point of view, just like we're seeing right now with the vaccines, coronavirus. They're not letting anyone else have a word because that could take away some of their power and wealth is easily by giving up some of their share of the market, and they don't want to do that.
Right. That is unfortunately true. It's been like that for a really long time. Like,
so what happens is they give us. Oh, go ahead.
It's been happening for a very long time, like on Facebook groups and stuff, and like the last few years, people have been making fun of some of these groups, and they'll be like, this is what's happening, this is what goes on. There's even nurses and doctors who have spoken out about other diseases and treatments, and they've been made fun of, ostracized, lost their jobs, and now this is happening. Some people who thought they were crazy before are like, maybe there is something to this. And it doesn't help that Bill Gates is like, dude, apparently he just proves that money can buy you anything. Like, absolutely. I mean, medical experts are taking advice from a guy who got started building computers in his garage. What the fuck?
Did you ever watch the TED Talk? Did you ever watch that TED Talk from 2015?
Yes, with Bill Gates? I did. So
it's all
January,
there.
Someone brought that up. I had seen it.
It's all there.
If he misspoke, he probably should have gone back and corrected it. But
you don't misspeak every sentence.
Well, I'm just saying,
if he
misspoke, he probably should have gone back and explained himself, because saying, hey, if we do a really good job with medicine, we can reduce the population. Wait. I thought medicine was supposed to help keep people alive, not reduce it. What are you talking about, bro? Like, and why do they always like to experiment in minority countries? Like, that seems to be an absolute free-for-all. They're testing them like guinea pigs. They've even
they said they wanted
that happening.
The first people to get tested for the vaccine are going to be military, poor people and black people. They've already said that. Bill Gates himself has said it. It's going to be mainly black people
our
first.
poor military members have always been treated like guinea pigs and stuck like pin cushions. And they love, like I said, they love doing it in like middle and like West Africa. Like that is like their playground to do whatever they want. Like it's God's blind spot.
Absolutely.
Or some shit.
That's why they do so much good charity work over there.
Huh?
I said that's why the Bill and Melinda Gates do so much good charity work over in Africa and stuff like that, you know.
Man, I gotta tell you though, like, if you want to do charity work, are you feeding these people? Because they all still look malnourished as fuck. Like, are you just sticking them with shit and that's it? Like, none of these people seem to be gaining any weight or looking hydrated. So,
no.
I'm just saying, like, if you got a shit ton of money and you're, you know, helping third world countries out of the kindness of your heart, I assume you'd be feeding them. You know, maybe
you got money.
Them get electricity, running water. Like, I'm not seeing any signs of that.
Like Bill Gates, take one of your $88 billion and just take that $1 billion and feed a bunch of people, you know, for a long time. So
yeah, he has no interest in like the suicide epidemic. You know, he has no interest in homelessness, especially in veterans. Like, no, he wants to guinea pig people. This guy is Joseph Mengele that's come back. That's my opinion.
He has said, Bill Gates has said that every time he gives to charity, it's literally an investment. And that it has large benefits, is what he says.
That doesn't sound charitable. That's an investment.
Exactly. I brought that up on one of my previous videos. And speaking of, Philip Blair earlier said remdesivir is absolutely being price gouged. I did a video on remdesivir. You got to look into who owns that and who's pushing it. It's a company called Gilead Sciences, who works with Microsoft, Bill Gates, and Anthony Fauci. Apparently it doesn't really do much, but they're going to make money off of it for sure.
That sounds beyond words. It really does.
No proof at all that it does anything to help. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, what is like the placebo versus like, what's the ratio on that? Like, I would like to see it.
Same. But if they release that, they would be selling.
Yeah, and of course they like to mess with percentages and make things sound way better or worse depending on how they look at it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next story, it does seem that there's more holdup, but now it's not just Democrats. Like everybody, it's a full-on circus show over there. Really, it is. The second stimulus, right? So apparently the chief of staff at the White House has decided that the middle of people trying to fight over whether or not they're going to get a stimulus check is the perfect time to go on vacation. You're a dick. Saying some of us are broke. Thanks, Dick. Enjoy your yacht trip or whatever the fuck it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, like they don't have one other guy who can fill in for him.
I don't know if anybody can fill in for the chief of staff, but the fact that he picked right now to take a vacation, it's like, really? You really? Oh my God, that's like right up there with people going, oh, like the day after Thanksgiving, I think I'm going to take my vacation because I know what's coming at the store. You know,
exactly.
Like, you pick now. It's like fucking pandemonium.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Either that or like he was told to take a vacation because maybe he was saying something or they didn't like the way he was negotiating it. So he's like, you know what, just take a vacation and we'll handle this. Either way,
maybe he didn't want to take responsibility for whatever
whatever shit show happens. It's going to be while I'm not here. So like, I don't want to blame for it.
I heard this stimulus. I heard this stimulus is going to be a lot less than the last one, is what I've heard.
I think Trump said that. I actually heard it wasn't, but what I heard there was instead of the $100,000 income cap, it's going to be dropped to like 50 or 75,000, and that you're not going to get as much per kid, but you're still going to get a decent amount per kid, and it's still going to be the normal 1,200. Is what I swear. Told.
Maybe I'm thinking of the. Maybe I'm thinking more of like just the unemployment thing rather than the stimulus. I believe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he signed like an order about that, and so like the last time it was $600.
That's it.
Some
Yep, that's the one I was
conservatives
talking.
wanting
That's what I was thinking.
$200. Some conservatives were wanting it to only be $200 over. So he signed something in the middle, I believe, that's 400. And I'm like, let's kind of split down the middle.
He
And
said
I'm not
something
sure
like
what else is
600
attached to
wasn't.
it.
He said the 600 was like more than they thought they could have done to begin with. So they were lucky to get that done. Like that's why people think it's dropping. He's like, nah, we just didn't know we could even do 600. So we were lucky to be able to get that out.
Right. So at only 400 above your normal pay is that. I mean, it depends on what you were paid, I suppose. But like, it could have been worse. And I'm not sure what all was attached to it. But I've heard some people were saying that it was like take away from people's social. He was cutting people's social security and this and that. And I'm like, I didn't hear much news about that. That was like some personal people's opinion. And
my social security was going to be gone. I heard 10 years ago I'm not getting social security whenever I get old. So, I mean, I'm not even worried about that. This is before Trump even thought about running for office, whenever I was told.
Because during the Obama administration, they actually said that if they didn't get the money that they wanted, that Social Security would be in danger, which tells me that they've been dipping into the wrong pool because Social Security is supposed to be its own separate thing, not to be tampered with. And so it's like, what? So you need money to replace what you just took? Is that what you're basically saying?
It seems like, yeah, they were going to like
somewhat to why possibly some of the stuff like putting sick people into nursing homes and that whole fiasco in New York.
Oh,
yeah, you don't have to pay people who are dead.
That's true. It's like the Social Security stuff. It's like it's a jar of money, and they're like, we're gonna take a little bit, hope no one notices, and then we'll put it back eventually. And then they just know they're like, we can't do it,
Right. Exactly.
We're still broke. We spent that, and I still don't have any money.
Yeah, and these people want to tell us how to live and what to do. They can't even keep their own house straight. Like, we'd be better off not governed, really. Jeez. Also,
well, that's
next
the
on the
thing.
agenda, huh?
I said, well, that's the thing. I was just agreeing with you. I was like, that's the thing.
And next on the agenda, they want to reboot The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, only they want it to be a hard-hitting drama. Well, part of its comedy was part of its magic. And secondly, they seem to forget that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actually did touch on a lot of social subjects, like police brutality, racism, infidelity, things like that. So I'm curious to see what they do with this. Because, like, adding some seriousness and some humor with things, I think helps get things across to people. Like,
Uncle Phil is rolling in his grave.
Who?
Uncle Phil is rolling in his grave. Uncle Phil, he's rolling in his grave right now here in his news.
Oh my God, I can't imagine who they're going to have in place of him.
Was this all Alfonso Ribeiro's idea? I feel like it was. Who's producing this?
It was. I actually read an article that Will Smith is totally on board with this idea.
Okay.
The idea came apparently from someone putting out a fake trailer for a concept for a version of a more hard-hitting version of a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and apparently the idea took. And
do you remember when Alfonso Ribeiro a couple years back was trying to like sue Fortnite for his dance?
I did not. I missed that one.
Yeah, it's about a year and a half ago. Fortnite, I guess I've never played the game, but apparently when you win or something, you can do like a celebration dance. So they put the Carlton dance in there,
dance
Yeah. And he was like, hey, that's my dance. I'm suing you because you're making money off my dance. And they're like, the judge was like, it's not specific enough to make it like pay you money. By the way, who does he think he is?
Was it his idea for that dance, or was it like a choreographer on the show who came
That's what I was going to ask. He said it was his idea. But still, wouldn't whoever owns the right to the show own that and not him?
I really don't know. Like, can you copyright a dance move? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never looked into that concept before.
I know, it's insane.
Like,
I'm going to monetize the way I move my body. No one else can move like this, so they have to pay me.
Of the dance move and have it copywritten.
Yeah, it's insane. If you move the same way that I move, pay up. You know?
Yeah, I assume he did not win that.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He's still hosting game shows or something.
Is he?
He was hosting a couple. I think he was. I saw him on something. He was doing America's
I haven't
Funniest
watched regular
Videos.
TV in such a long time. I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, I don't have cable. I haven't had cable in a couple years. So honestly, I'm probably about 2 years behind on what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know if he still hosts that game show.
Yeah, someone asked me if I watch Supernatural. I'm like, I'm 15 seasons behind. Sorry.
There's someone else the other day told me I had to watch that show. I was like, yeah, I've never seen it. I don't know.
If it's like 3 or 4 seasons behind, I'll give it a go because I can binge that. I cannot binge 15 seasons. I'll die.
And people are like, hey, watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, I don't have the time. Yeah.
No to that because I know
it might be good, but I just don't have the time, you know. And I heard the ending was terrible, so I don't want to spend like
everybody was so upset with it. Like that does not make me want to watch this. It makes me glad I didn't waste 8 years of my life watching this.
Exactly. Same thing with Dexter. They actually did watch that.
Hey Tommy, how are you doing? I'm so glad to have you here. Mwah.
You got a pet?
Uh-huh.
A cat? Is it a cat or dog?
No. Tommy the guinea pig commander.
What's that? Oh, okay, over here on the phone.
Yeah. Tommy
on your phone on the screen. Okay, I thought you were like talking to a pet or something on your floor. That you have a pet named Tommy. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, sorry, the phone's over here. So I'm looking down.
It looked like you're looking down, like, oh hi. Sorry, my mistake. I'm an idiot.
Oh, I have girl cats. Although one is named Bob.
Hey, it's 2020.
Right. Well, when she was first born, we couldn't tell if she was a boy or a girl, but she looked like a little bobcat, so we named her Bob. And then when we realized she was a girl, we figured she didn't care about gender labels anyway, so we just continued to call her Bob.
There's a lot of females named Bobby.
And like keep making fight club references by saying "move, bitch, tits." My poor cat.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're too blonde.
And since her name is Bob, he goes, "Hello, Roberta Paulson," and I'm just like, "Shut the fuck up."
Tommy said, is giving me some good advice to lay off the dope. Yeah, I'm actually, yeah, I'm not. Oh, just because all the stuff I thought he was your pet. That's why he said that. He has every right to. He's roasted me.
The guinea pig commander is nobody's pet. He has Borg simulated guinea pigs in an army. Whole long story. But the Cat Alliance has made a truce with the guinea pig collective. So next on the shit list. Apparently people forget that we have a Coast Guard. Again. Holy shit. So in less than 24 hours, Customs, Border Patrol, and U.S. Coast Guard intercepted 2 separate smuggling boats, led to the arrest of 6 individuals, and seized 528 pounds of meth and almost 1,000 pounds of marijuana off the coast of San Diego.
Hell yeah.
Fuck. Now, the weed thing, it's like, really? We're still arresting people for weed? God, is this the 1930s? Come on.
Well,
the meth
was
kind of understand. That's what kind of fucked up.
Some meth.
The meth, though, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it. But
well,
like,
it wasn't
I don't know why people keep trying to come to like sneaking boats and shit to the coast and bringing in shit tons of stuff. It's like, we have radar, we have Coast Guard, we have people just out sailing around. Like, how the hell do you think you're gonna sneak this shit in? What the fuck?
941 pounds of marijuana. Man, I am jealous.
I'm still astounded at 528 pounds of meth.
That's a lot of money.
California will be up for 2 months. Holy shit.
It's good they intercepted it there. We really do have, especially where the area that I live in, we really do have a bit of a opioid crisis, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of overdoses and deaths in my area. So it's mainly like, heroin, meth, that kind of stuff. I got a couple cousins that are really they're I have a couple cousins. They're 24 and 22, and they spent their entire adult lives in prison because they keep going out and doing heroin and meth, and they get let out. They've been in prison like 4 times each, but they just keep going back because they're so addicted, I guess. People never learn.
Yeah, if you may be in jail for a while, unless you can get drugs in jail, would break that somewhat, get that out of your system. But yeah,
apparently my
cousin.
Apparently my cousin, when she got out of rehab in prison, like her mom said that she would just sit down like sticking needles into her arm just because she missed the feeling of injecting.
Oh.
So it's that bad. It's that bad. Some people can't help themselves.
God. Oh. I don't like needles.
I don't either. I have no tattoos. I don't even have any tattoos.
It's a different kind of needle. This just sort of scratches the surface, but one that just plunges into the vein. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. And I can't imagine sticking myself. I ain't got nothing to stick myself with anyway. Like
exactly.
Like
I'm surprised she's still alive, to be honest with you. But
me too.
You know.
Holy shit! I mean, I'm glad she's alive, but fuck. Oh.
Well, I mean, I wish she'd clean her act up because she has a child, but and that's kind of sad. Spend her whole kid's life in prison, you know. I don't have any respect for her. She might be family, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Right. Sometimes we love people out of obligation. Ooh.
But she's always been a little shithead. I've known her ever since she was a newborn. I held her when she was a newborn. Ever since she grew up and was able to talk, she's always been a little shithead, and her parents have never done any discipline, never come down on them, and that's why they thought they could just get away with everything in life and just get high and do whatever.
Oh, Lord mercy.
It's bad parenting is what it boils down to.
Not always. My parents did their best to, put me in my place, but I was having none of it. Like,
well, I mean, I witnessed the parenting over many years. I saw that there's no disciplinary action.
Not helping. Yeah, it definitely doesn't make the situation better, no.
It's one of those things where you see the kid doing something wrong, and you're like, I'll give you to the count of 3, okay? 1. Don't make me go to 2. Okay.
Right.
2.
Don't make me get the fuck away from there.
Yeah.
I'll smack someone.
And they never get to 3.
Damn. Next
it's a shame. Anyways, I'm sorry to go on a tangent. I guess it wasn't a complete tangent. It was a little bit on topic. So.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. Anyway, so one of the vaccines that they're wanting to us try or push on us, whatever. Let's see. The U.S. company and its German rival. Yeah, they haven't come up with some weird shit before or anything. BioNTech plan to use RNA as a messenger inside the cells to produce an immune reaction. First off, something that enters your body is going to get an immune reaction, most likely, because it's a foreign entity. So, for some reason, I assume that we already have RNA that sends these signals. So, I guess they feel like they need to give us more RNA to up the signal, which makes me wonder. I mean, that concept seems like it would go to people who are immune compromised, who don't have that. But giving it to people who already do, I wonder if that's going to be like trying to install 2 operating systems into the same computer at the same time. Like,
this seems like inhuman a little bit. Is this you talking about like affecting DNA molecules?
Well, technically, yes. It's the RNA is like supposed to like send out messages and signals and tell things what to do. So technically,
I somewhat remember that from biology.
And it says almost every antiviral vaccine ever sold works in a similar way. A dead or weakened virus or a piece of one is introduced into a healthy person. The weakened virus stimulates the immune system. So why do you need an RNA messenger? Like, I mean, I assume, like I said, we should have already the RNA to detect that there's a foreign invader coming and for us to respond. So why are they giving us more RNA if your immune system already does what it's supposed to? I mean, like I said, this I would imagine would be people who are immune compromised, whose immune systems aren't sending out correct messages. So, and unless you're testing people to see if they need it, instead of just sticking everybody with a one-size-fits-all. This seems like a terrible fucking idea. It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
I mean, they're talking
I don't.
about like uh, pathogens threatening to infect them over the decades. The tried and true, it's cut off slightly, but they were talking about the tried and true way with polio vaccines and this and that. But I actually found a clip where Dr. Jonas Salk even said that his vaccine in the beginning actually caused a problem because it wasn't dead; it was alive, and it caused people to get polio and to spread it. So I'm not
Oh, what
like
an ass.
I wonder if we're going to have this kind of rough patch since this is kind of new. They said and they were trying stuff like this in the 90s and the early 2000s, and it was working okay with animals, but it wasn't working very well with humans. And so I'm sitting here going like, well, shit, is that still the way it is? Like, are we just going to say, hey, line up, let's see what happens?
This feels like a lot of this stuff feels like we're trying to kill a fly with a shotgun. You know, it's like
Right,
it just seems like
exactly.
we're going way overboard for something that we could be doing much more simpler things, much more healthy alternatives in terms of medicine or empowering our immune systems just by getting enough vitamins, sleep, exercise, sunlight, stuff like that. All these things are going to help.
Everybody wants an easy, quick fix-all, nothing that takes any effort. And
This
that
just
is
seems like money. They can't make money off people going outside and getting some vitamin D from the sun or exercising. There's no real money to make from that. Someone wants to go jog, like maybe buy
yeah,
some
and
shoes. But
there's a lot of America has got a serious like health and like obesity epidemic, heart problem, all the things because all the junk food we eat, we don't take care of ourselves the way we should. So we have this
guilt.
issue where everybody wants a quick fix that'll fix them up, so they don't have to actually put any effort into it. And we're bad
Well,
about
it's everything.
that.
It's like people who want the weight loss pill. They don't want to do the exercise. It's just take the pill and be good. Eat whatever you want. Actually, I hate to keep talking about my family, but I have a cousin. She's another cousin, not the same one. Severely overweight. What's up?
So it sounds like
I have a
you got
lot of
of
cousins. I do have a lot of cousins, but she's severely overweight, and her brother, who was also overweight, started taking this medication, and apparently made his appetite decrease, so he wasn't eating as much, and he lost some weight. And she refuses to take the medicine because she just loves to eat so much. She doesn't want to stop eating. She doesn't want to help herself. She's like, no, I like eating. Like, fair enough, but you also have a child who's about 8 years old, so maybe you should think about your future, for your kid.
Right. Man, I could go into something about that, but like, I don't know, like, might get any viewers.
When I say severely, I mean like, I estimate she's about 400 to 500 pounds at least. I mean severely. I don't mean like she's a little overweight. I mean like she's not good. Like 40 might not happen,
That's impressive.
She's so big that when she was pregnant, you couldn't even tell. I hate to make fun of her. I'm not trying to make fun of people or anything like that. I worry about people, and you hate to see it.
Right. But wow, that's concerning.
Got to take care of ourselves. We got to find out who we are, take care of ourselves.
I agree. I mean, sometimes there's like you need a little extra help, but we'd probably people would have to go to the doctor probably a lot less if we would just hydrate more, maybe eat a vegetable occasionally.
Exactly.
And wash your vegetables, people. Because I've been doing a little newscast where like onions Thompson's onions were infected with salmonella, and I was like, who has been rubbing raw chicken all over the fucking onions?
I hate onions anyways.
Well, bags of lettuce.
I know it's not me. The world does not revolve around me. I understand.
Well, bags of lettuce have always been getting contaminated with like E. coli and this and that. I'm like, people need to quit wiping their ass with the damn lettuce. Fuck. Like people want
toilet paper. Remember, they were out of toilet paper in the year. They had to use lettuce. Nothing else.
Even before this happened, there was like times where like it seems like healthy food keeps being on the news for having contamination, but none of the junk food ever does. Like,
yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to scare people away from eating right.
Well, are you
Anyway,
familiar with Monsanto?
oh God, don't get me started on that Franken shit.
So, I mean, I just figured that might have something to do with,
It
you know,
shouldn't technically, but it might. It's like if it's supposed to be such a super veggie, like why is it contaminated with these? Unless they want it to be, I don't know. Weird.
Tommy said, "Hoff, were you malnourished as a child because she was over for dinner a lot?" Actually, she was my next door neighbor, and she would come over for dinner. But I just didn't like my vegetables, bro. I'll admit it. I didn't like vegetables when I was a kid. I
There's
like them
always
now.
supplements or something. You just gotta read the labels because a lot of it's junk.
I actually did have an eating disorder when I was a newborn baby. I'd be on a feeding tube for like first like year of my life or whatever because I just wouldn't eat. So that's a true story.
Odd.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
No appetite.
Huh. All right. Our next bit of business.
Little known fact. Yeah.
Huh?
It's a little known fact about Hoff.
Right. Ah, I think like a mosquito got my elbow or something.
I got a gnat flying around in here. If you see me like looking around like this sometimes, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like, get me out of here.
Yeah, I had a gnat in here earlier. I don't know where that little fucker went, but I think a mosquito's in here too because he got my elbow, and now I just wanted to like scratch my elbow with a hairbrush. Ah. Anyway, so also, no news report would be complete without Hollywood making an ass of themselves. My personal opinion is if Hollywood as a whole are super excited about a politician, for the love of all God and everything holy, don't vote for that person. Because wasn't this silly bitch right here like on like the Epstein plane list? Pretty sure she was.
Oh, she's a kid diddler for sure, dude. Yeah, she is a kid diddler. And then she went on Twitter blowing up saying, like, now I'm the victim. I'm the victim. Fuck you, Chrissy Teigen. Devil worshiper.
So much true to that. Yeah, pretty much if anybody who's on Epstein's list endorses a politician, don't vote for that politician.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to make a choice on what politician, but that should be a pretty much a standard. Don't drop below that. I mean, I know our politics have gotten so bad that we're not even really talking about policies really anymore. We're arguing on whose politician is less skeezy. That's really kind of where we're at. And pretty much if any of these assholes are super excited about someone, don't vote for them. That's a bad sign. Like, hey, this pedophile endorses this pedophile. Don't vote for them. Somebody else.
This is right up my alley right here. We're speaking in my wheelhouse about this stuff right now. Let me tell you. First of all, is that Rob Reiner? What the hell is he saying? Well, who cares what he says? Meathead.
Fucking meathead. Fucking meathead from
I'm showing my age.
Archie Bunker.
All in the family. Yeah, he is a big liberal. I do know that.
Now.
They make fun of him on South Park. It's pretty funny.
Oh God, yes, I do love those guys in South Park because their attitude is liberal, kind of like it's supposed to be, but not fanatic. They make fun of everybody, and I appreciate the fuck out of them for it. I really do.
So, what do you think?
Cartoons have a better sense of politics than the actual politicians.
So, what do you think about
Enquirer at this point is probably more accurate with its news than our regular mainstream media.
That's unbelievable, but I now would believe I'd pick up a National Enquirer before I turn on CNN. So
I will turn on CNN just to see what they got to say and kind of see. That's why my news stuff comes from different spots. But yeah, like just seeing these two gives me a headache. Easy.
Let's speak since it's on Kamala, whatever you want to call it, Harris.
Kamala Harris, yeah.
Since they're talking about this, I truly believe that Biden is not going to last the 4 years, or he's going to decide to step aside, and then she's going to be president if they do win the election, which they're going to force.
Oh yeah, we're gonna actually jump in on that real quick. Actually, so I forgot to add that to the repertoire on here, so we'll just do it now. Actually, hold on, my shit's loading. Anyway, so yes. So apparently, it also came out today, or at least that's when I saw it, that prosecutor Camilla Harris failed to prosecute sexual abuse claims brought against priests despite victims' pleas, and received campaign donations from law firms defending the San Francisco priests against.
That's disgusting. That's
Yes,
disgusting.
this is your new VIP pick or VP pick. And also, there was an article that said if and when Biden steps aside, talking about her becoming president. So there has been some news outlets, multiple ones, they're indicating that not long after the election, he will step aside and let her be president. So
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Black people being incarcerated, and she took basically bribe money for not prosecuting chomo fucking priests.
Yeah,
not on fucking Epstein's list too. Shit.
They're all in it together. It's all one big ring. All right, it's crazy.
Oh,
Did you see that? Did you see that? It's about 2 weeks ago, I think. Miss Harris here. She had been missing for a few days, and then she goes on CNN, and you see her, and it's like she got a facelift, and like she had all this Botox and work done on her face, and she looked completely different. Her eyes were like dead black, and obviously that has something to do with, they already knew this probably a month ago, who was going to be, at least if not longer, that she was going to be the VP pick. So, I mean, they're just setting this all up. It's going to be.
She was probably told in advance that she might be before everyone else was. So, I mean, that's not a huge shock. But
I did think it was hilarious when Biden said, my VP pick will be a lady of color.
Yeah, he's got to do something to make up for all those racist comments he kept fucking making so far all through the campaign.
She called it racist.
A few months ago, she called it absolute racist, and now she's sitting here going, oh man, okay, I cannot make that impersonation. I can't do it. Suddenly it's like, buddy! But yeah, I'm really sorry for insulting black people, so how about you help me win the presidency, and I'll step aside, you can be president.
Yeah.
Goody, joy. That's what we need.
It is
a child sniffer and an ex-crooked cop. Hooray!
The fact that it is insane how the left can call Trump a racist and just ignore every way crazy thing that Biden has said over years and years and years and years.
Oh my God,
that's fine though.
I don't care. Like, at what point? I mean, all right, so like, I'm trying to figure out, like, at what point does the scale tip? Because they're like, oh, well, Trump's a racist. Okay, so maybe he said some stupid shit. And then you go, well, I don't care. One lady tweeted, and someone took a picture of this tweet and posted it, and nearly died. This was like 3 months ago. She's like, I would rather be raped by Biden at gunpoint in the middle of, like, Wall Street than to vote for Trump. I'm like, okay, so at what point is your accusations against Trump, like, you'd rather be raped than vote for a guy who hit on women?
That's the TDS is real. Trump derangement syndrome,
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Trump either, but I mean, at some point, one of them's got to be worse than the other. Like, your argument is over here is not as heavy as this one, and you're still like, I'm still going to vote for these guys. Why? This lady here, these things reversed. She's helped incarcerate a shit ton of people, including a lot of black people. And she's letting child molesters just get away while taking money from them. But, God, anything but Trump, I guess.
I don't get it either. I don't get it either, I'm not saying, I don't think Trump's perfect.
I should drop my PayPal link and see if anybody wants to, like, fund me to... Because apparently it's $1,000 to get on the governor ballot here in Oklahoma.
I'll fund it. Not the whole thing, but I'll throw in a few bucks.
Well, I've never had a felony, so that helps. You're supposed to get felonies after you get in office, not before.
Exactly. Or they just don't know about them until you get in office. Yeah.
That's possible, but I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to come in there pretty raw and honest though, because my 20s may be on film somewhere. But like in Oklahoma, you got a pretty good chance of winning if you run Republican and you don't make a complete.
You still look like you're still in your 20s. Come on.
Well, the camera and lighting and makeup help. Trust me. In the end of September, I will be 39.
No way. Don't lie to
September
me.
30th, 1981. You can check my Twitter if it's there. Unless I'm under
Don't
21,
lie.
there's no reason a woman's gonna lie about being older.
I look a lot older than I am, so yeah, I feel you.
Oh,
And I look young, younger than I am is what I meant to say. I look a lot
30.
younger.
You look 30.
What's up?
You
Well,
look
thank
about
you.
30.
Yeah, with the hair, yeah.
Well,
If I shave, no.
if you shave, you'll probably look even younger. Actually, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't look 30 because of the hair on my face. If I shave, some girl called me 19 the other day. She thought I was 19 years old.
Nice. I wish I got that.
Because I told her I was 32, and she's like, nah.
Oh, I wasn't far off. But yeah, like, so this woman's just awful. I mean, I know he's trying to use to get the black vote. And people are like arguing that she's not black, but even though she's part Jamaican and part something else, I'm like, that technically, I don't know why that not make her black. I mean, she's.
Yeah,
Or,
I mean,
you don't have to be just from Africa to be black. You could be.
I'm not going to argue
black,
that sort of thing.
Dominican Republic, Jamaica, those would all constitute having people who are black. So I'm not sure
She's
why.
hands down she's a woman of color for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna say
like,
she's
so
not
I'm not
black,
sure why
but-
they're complaining. Like, I guess they get into that part where they're complaining she's not black enough, which is dumb. I think it's like, okay, she's not African American, but she's Jamaican American. Okay,
Well, Obama wasn't fully like 100% black either.
right?
So,
Exactly. So, like, I think it's. I mean, of all the things we could talk about, really, you think she's not black enough? That's your argument? That's where you're at?
See, that's what the problem with society is. It's the looking at the colors and stuff of people. Who cares?
Enough to discredit her. The fact that she helped incarcerate and probably cut corners doing so tons of people, including black people, and it was probably a crooked cop, should be enough to discredit her. You're going to argue about whether or not she's got enough melanin? That's where you're
Yeah.
at? Really?
Small potatoes. Small potatoes. Not this- it's so-
Are you kidding? Oh my
It's
God,
the same
people.
thing whenever people get mad about Trump who he spells a word or says a word wrong. And it's like, that's all you have? That's it? And by the way, back to the whole race
things occasionally as well. Sometimes my voice text fucks shit up. It doesn't mean I don't know what I'm saying. It doesn't mean you don't understand what I'm saying. Mistakes happen.
Going back to the racist thing, the biggest example people give of Trump being a racist is about the Mexicans coming across the border, and he called them animals or something.
Mexicans though. He was talking about immigration.
He's talking about the caravan.
People from Europe, like white people from Europe, will come over and overstay their visa and be here illegally, and they were getting removed. People from Ireland and England were getting removed.
He was talking about the criminals. He's talking about cartel, not all Mexicans. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
You gotta be. Then you got Biden going on there saying black people aren't diverse compared to Latinos, and then no one thinks it on.
I don't understand how the fuck. What does that even mean? They're not.
No one even asked him. No one even asked him. Is the best thing? It's like no one asked you, Joe. You didn't have to say that.
Diversity was just to have different like ethnic backgrounds. Like, so you're telling me that people who could be from the Dominican Republic, Haiti, the Ivory Coast, all these different Jamaica, for instance. Like, you're telling me that's not diverse?
I don't know if he was just talking about color, but also just about viewpoints. I think what he was trying to say is that all black people think the same way, and Latino people have different, more vast culture and different ways of thinking and opinions. If you watch the video, that's what I took from it.
That's still insane. Like, no.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my God. And I don't know where this god awful cracker gets the idea that he gets to tell other races what they are or not. I'm sorry. No. Don't
I
do
think
that
he's
one rule.
oblivious.
Please don't.
I think he's oblivious as well. You know what I mean? He'll say it, and then he
was probably told to pick her. Like, this is the only way you can save your campaign. Pick her. This is the only way you can save it.
Oh, there is that. Have you ever looked at Joe Biden's Twitter account? There ain't no way he's typing a single word on that thing.
Why?
Because it's way too. Oh yeah. There's like good hyphens and good punctuation and adding photos and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, Biden knows nothing about any of that. He's probably just like, hey, could you just put something on Twitter about I don't like Donald Trump? Yeah.
Well, I get having like sort of like a press secretary who will type stuff for you. Like, I get that, but like someone needs to take Weekend at Bernie's and just have them sit down because no. As soon as you start telling people like they aren't this race or that race, like no, you don't get to decide that. Their genetics, their melanin, their culture, their history, that determines it, not you. You goofy fuck. Oh my God.
Also, the extremely famous Biden quote where he's like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
I nearly died. Oh, right
like,
there. I was like, I wish oh God. Oh, I nearly
like,
died.
Like
and the co-host didn't, like, I guess that maybe the co-host, because they cut it short a little after that. He probably said something to him after it or just didn't talk to him at all, but like, that couldn't have gone unmarked, unnoticed.
He said it to a black guy, Charlemagne. Yeah.
Did he just fucking say that?
Yeah, Charlemagne was like, he was like, what? You know,
like whoa,
what do you say?
What? Yeah, like no, you have a script, stick to it for the love of God. Oh man, this guy improvises. It goes so bad, so fast. Like
he's just it's
like this.
People,
him trying to pick her is like the only way he can even half-ass recover. And anybody who has any eyes can see that this is a ploy. This is a ploy to get women to vote. This is a ploy to possibly recoup the minorities he offended the shit out of. It's like, you picking her is not going to take away your 25 years of embarrassing racist comments. At least not in my opinion.
There are some people who are making this theory. They're saying that the Democrats are actually just throwing this election. They don't expect to win it. That's why they know no one likes Joe Biden. They know no one likes Kamala Harris or whatever. By the way, Kamala, however you pronounce it, in Finnish, that means horrible. Little fun fact for you. Horrible Harris.
Oh, biscuit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's funny.
Everyone's Finland thinks her first name is horrible.
Nah, they're not wrong. But yeah.
Horrible because I can't pronounce it.
And like we don't even, except for her letting this kind of shenanigans go on right here, I don't see anything that makes her qualified for being in office, because then they're like, oh, she's got many years experience in politics. But did she do a good job? That's the question. Like almost anybody can spend many years in politics if they kissed the right ass enough, but did they do a good job? That's the question. And it doesn't look like she did. It looks awful.
No, not a lot of people like her, honestly. So from what I see.
Yeah, so like I said, we get a crooked cop and a hair sniffer. That's our choices.
Okay, I want to make this statement.
Democrats pull this. There is not anybody in this country who's Democrat that they couldn't have picked that could have been better. This is really what they dug up, and this is what they put together.
Here's my thing. I can totally understand why someone wouldn't like Trump. I'm not saying to hate him to the extent that some of these Trump deranged people are, but I can understand why you wouldn't like him. Yeah, he's kind of arrogant sometimes. He's a little weird. So he's a little off. I understand why you wouldn't like him. But let me make this claim. I have no idea why anyone would like Joe Biden for any reason. There's no reason to like the guy. Zero. Nothing.
Really confused old white people who are okay with some of the things he said. Like, them, maybe, but wow. Like some of the stuff he said, oh Lord.
Philip Blair just put a good comment. He says, in my 20s, my family member suspected when I was 7, but school wouldn't listen. F Kamala Harris for jailing the parents of Aspie kids who skip school to avoid bullying.
Oh
So
wow, jailed
that's
kids.
so
Oh,
she's jailed parents of kids who skip school.
because they were being bullied.
That's
Wow.
mess. That's a whole nother level I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It kind of doesn't surprise. It does and it doesn't. I mean, but that's. I mean, I understand like your kids true, but like, why is the school not doing more to protect kids? Like, shouldn't that be what was tackled? Like, what about the parents of the kids who were bullying? Is that not going to be tackled? Let's pick on. Let's like ruin the lives of the victim. Good job.
yeah, instead of talking about it, let's just arrest them.
Yeah,
It's a
lovely.
better idea.
Yeah. I mean, there probably was talk. The parents probably got a letter and they're like, "Hey, my kid's being bullied. Do something." They're probably missing that part. They're probably ignoring that because there has to be some kind of like let like when I skipped school or when Deidre has my daughter, she's like I'm assuming skipped class because some of this stuff is a little her absences or whatever on her report card is a little inconsistent. And then I'm like, are we hanging out in the bathroom and going to class? Are we? You know, but I get a notice. I get a letter. I get an automated
Yeah.
phone call. If my daughter is not in class, I get an automated phone call, even if I have already checked her out of school for that day, telling me that
Oh.
she's not there. So I'm trying to figure out how, like there was no in between. It's just boom, it didn't show up. Bam,
Well,
arrest.
I mean,
Seems like a
according to
lot of
Philip,
kids
this happened.
left out.
According to Philip, this happened when he was in his 20s, so that's probably a while back. But still, it was
But
Kamala
they
Harris.
still contacted the parents.
Yeah.
Back then, schools talked to the parents more. So it's outrageous. Oh, sweet Jesus, Curls Jr. Thank you. Oh, burger. Sorry. Yum.
That just came out of nowhere.
It did.
Magic burger.
Heck yeah. There are people behind the scenes that support me. Anyway, and feed me. So I don't like get all rabid and chew on people.
She's got
Anyway,
she's got a heck of a crew there. There's like 18 people around her. There's 15 cameras, a bunch of boom mics. You know, she's anytime
I got two lamps. One there, one there. I got just
Coke,
the
you just have
microphone
your
attached
fingers.
to this camera and a green screen
I was
that
trying to
I
make you
got
seem
like
bigger.
$2 pieces of fabric, and so I stapled all the pieces together. And
Don't
that's
tell
what
them that. Tell them you're in a very expensive studio with a huge crew that does everything on your whim. That's what you're supposed to tell them.
No.
Make you seem
I
important.
gotta keep it somewhat real. Like, like I don't want people thinking, oh yeah, she's doing it. Like, no, I'm a broke bitch. Like, you can do it too, y'all. It's all right. So, oh my goodness.
Broke bitch.
So, yeah, back to the Hollywood thing. I nearly died. All right, so this was brought to my attention by DJ Odyssey, who retweeted this, and I saw it nearly. Oh, what is that? Ooh, what is that? Oh, do we have sour cream?
Oh shit.
Oh,
No, we have ranch.
Philip wanted to clear up his parents were not jailed. I'm sorry, I misread that.
oh. Well, hold on.
Fuck it.
I'll sound fussy later.
Fuck it.
Anyway.
Regardless, it's
I'm one of the
pretty
people that
pretty.
condiments have to go with certain things, and jalapeno poppers have to have sour cream.
I love sour cream. Love sour cream.
I was offered ranch. I'm like, just because I live in Oklahoma does not mean I put ranch on everything.
That's
Although most of them do.
that's a pun.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I do have family members that do. But anyway, so our last little tidbit of news, and this was brought to my attention by DJ Odyssey, and I had to go to her actual page and look at it. I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. So Jamie
Here
Lee
we go.
Curtis has lost her mind. Everybody. All right. So apparently she's never seen a tow truck take away a vehicle that needs repair. I'm guessing. So yeah, she's like, I swear, in broad daylight, the driver of the red truck had a red cap with white letters on it. Conspiracy? Outright attempt to steal the election by denying the access to the USPS. First off, look at this truck right here. It's red. I do believe I see some white letters right here, not far from the fender. So it's most likely his cap that belongs to the company. He is the company driver. Those things actually, those mail trucks actually break down quite a lot. I actually used to date a guy who lives in Detroit, well, just outside it, and his job was repairing UPS trucks or mail trucks. Like he worked at the center where they park those trucks at the end of the day, and those things they break down quite often. So it most likely it broke down. It's being towed. If they're
No,
going
let's
to
do this.
people from having ballots, they're just not going to
Let's
take them out.
let's use some real logic, unlike our Hollywood idiot friend here, Jamie Lee Curtis. Let's use some logic, okay? Okay, there's first of all, that's one mail truck. If that one mail truck affects the whole election, all right, then exactly. Second, if you're saying, well, Hoff, there might be more than just the one. The Postal Service is probably going to wonder where all their goddamn mail trucks are going, all right? You know, like, they're probably going to look into it. There's going to be witnesses. There are license plates on these vehicles. There's a company name on the side of that truck, I guarantee it. Jamie Lee was too stupid to look at it or actually read the name on the hat. You can't just say, oh, I saw a red hat with red letters. If you didn't read it, if you don't know what it says, don't fucking post anything, you fucking moron. This is the dumbest post I think I've ever seen in my life.
So she probably turned right over here and didn't even follow up with another picture or anything.
Yeah, it's so important. Why didn't you follow it and do something about it? God.
What? No shit. God knows she probably did. And it probably, I mean, I saw the ratio that was happening in the comments. And, like, they're like, we like you, but have you had too much Activia? And, like, other people are like, it's probably broken down. Have you never seen a tow truck before? You know, things like that. Like, the ratio was bad. Well, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, think about this.
And she said,
where would you have to pick up?
I checked later to see if she deleted it. The woman has no shame. She did not delete it. I'm like.
So let's think. There's two places this mail truck could have been picked up, most likely. It was either at the post office or while a driver was making a delivery. And, okay, so the driver never said, hey, my truck was stolen. Or no one went outside the post office and said, hey, where'd that truck go? You know?
Yeah, I don't see any postal workers posting that, like, the trucks are being, like, confiscated. And some people are wanting, and it's weird, some people are wanting the Postal Service to be defunded to stop fraud. And I'm like, wait, I don't think you know how this works. How are you going to get regular mail delivered to you? And it's like they can't figure out what path they want to take with this. Like, either want mail
the Postal Service isn't even doing very well right now, from what I've heard. So to deny any kind of mail would just shoot themselves in the foot anyway. I'm all about conspiracy.
Yeah, they're worried that the election's going to be stolen. Like, some are, I don't know, they've got themselves all worked up in a total tizzy. They really have. But, like,
there's just people that makes no sense.
Razor, he told me that he was in Puerto Rico, and people went to go vote, and there was no ballots. No ballots were found to use. And I, of course, half joked that, I don't know, maybe they're in a warehouse with the hurricane supplies.
Probably.
Yeah, because, like, I'm certain somebody sent out the ballots. So between point A and point B, where'd they go? So, yeah, people in Puerto Rico were unable to vote because, yeah, the ballots were not anywhere to be found. They couldn't find any. And
this election... Oh, you go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. 1, 2. No, I was going to say this election is going to be absolutely insane.
It is. I'm like, I mean, this is not going to end well either way. Either Trump's going to win and people are going to flip out even harder, or they're going to win and flip out with happiness and, like, think it's open season on anybody who thinks different than them, even more so than they think now. So either way, this is going so bad. And
both sides have already said if they lost that they're going to blame it on fraud, on voter fraud. Both sides have pretty much said that, you know?
Well, that's kind of where we're at, because both sides are trying anything and everything to get to win, because they feel like everything's at stake. And it's like, good Lord. Like, I just don't want to be in this country anymore right now, but I'm too poor to go anywhere, and everything sucks anyway, so I don't think I'd find anywhere better anyhow. So I might as well just think
I just want to get out to the country, actually. If you know, I wasn't living here in the city. Moved to the city because, you know, I wanted to do things. Now I live in the city. Everything's locked down. I can't go do anything. Can't go to concerts. Can't go to hockey games. Can't go to a restaurant, anything like that. I mean, I can, but I'm not going there and wearing a mask. Screw that.
Yeah, move the mask, eat some food, put the mask back down. Yeah, I like drive through anyway. I never really like going to theaters or being around a bunch of people. So like I've adapted this fairly okay. My biggest argument was that Walmart isn't 24 hours anymore. That kind of pissed me off. But aside from that, though, but I feel bad for people who are. Do you homeschool? Oh, okay. He's asking somebody else. Although I've been considering it, but getting my daughter to like buckle down is difficult. Like, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like, she actually got herself a mask before like it even started becoming a thing, and it's got the anime fairy tale logo on it. And and we were discussing like, well, you have this now. Where are you gonna wear it? And then I'm like, oh, well, looks like now you get to wear it.
Watch my last stream. Watch my last stream. I talk about the same thing that you just said. In my last stream, I have a neighbor. She's a young girl. Well, she doesn't live on her own. She lives with her parents, but she's a young girl. I saw her out. This is probably like January, February, before it hit here, before coronavirus was a big thing and masks were required. She's up there, and you can tell she's probably into like K-pop and anime and all that stuff. She's up there. She's wearing the mask. You know, I've seen it on TV, like Asian people wearing masks and stuff before that. I was like, what trend is this? This is a weird trend. People just wearing masks just to, like another piece of clothing or something. And she's out there wearing. I'm like, what is this? Is this an Asian influence on like our youth? Or what? Because like they're just wearing this mask and they don't even know why. It's kind of dumb. It's got little characters on it, just like you said. So like I just thought like little girls want to be cute, and the stuff that she saw online from like Asian stuff. She's probably big. Like what's that big Asian band? I can't remember the name. There's a big Asian band all the little young girls are into, and they probably saw stuff like that, like going online and watching their videos and stuff. So I'm out of my element when I'm talking here about this, but the whole mask thing, like they did target the youth to wear masks before coronavirus. How weird is that?
Well, my daughter, I think she got it because she kind of wanted to be mysterious and like the idea of being able to kind of cover and hide her face and be like, and so yeah, I think that's the reason she got it. So it kind of works out. I'm like, but yeah, and the fact that they have facial recognition cameras, I'm not opposed to the idea of wearing a mask, but the idea of having so much government overreach that you throw people in prison for not wearing it, I think is entirely too fucking much.
Because they throw people in prison. They throw people in prison for not wearing the mask, but they also let people out of prison because of coronavirus.
Right, yeah. So if you don't wear a mask, you go to jail. But if you killed somebody and you're supposed to be spending 50 years in, they're going to let you out because of the virus.
None of this makes sense.
It's insane. I'm not. The reason why I think is because people who don't wear a mask represent dissent and rebellion, and they want to jail those because clearly they're more of a danger socially than maybe someone who's killed somebody. So it's about punishing people who resist and rebel against the status quo.
I mean, back when we had those riots and looting and everything, though, you know, all of those people were wearing the masks, and you know why? So don't get identified when they're on the news. A lot of people still got arrested, though. I'm pretty happy about that. They let a lot of them off without any punishment as well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think that was just a way, because a lot of states, and they don't mention this anymore, but a year or two ago, there was talk that a lot of states, if they arrest you, even if it's just for a misdemeanor, they will take your DNA. So this may have been an excuse when they arrested them, and then just let them out with no bail. They took their DNA and kept it, and so it could be a way of collecting DNA along with the rest of the stuff that's going on.
Now that is deep.
Huh?
So you're going deep on this stuff. I like it.
Well, it's not. Well, you can't necessarily rule it out. A lot of this stuff could not be coincidence. It could be somewhat intertwined, because if they're arresting people. I mean, think about this. I mean, if I was, to go next door and punch my neighbor and the cops were called, I'd be arrested for assault and battery, obviously. These people are setting shit on fire, going nuts, and they just go and get arrested and then they're immediately released without bail.
And the fact that a lot of the governors of the cities that these crimes are happening in, they say like, oh, well, no one ever said, who was it? Was it Cuomo? Said, yeah, it was Cuomo said, no one ever said protests had to be peaceful. And then that one kid who eats ramen noodles, did you see that video? This kid eating ramen noodles. He's like, yeah, it's right there. It's like, yeah, peaceful
yeah,
protests.
it's right. Peacefully assemble. It's right there, bro.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with Cuomo in a way, because there's going to be times when protest is going to be necessary and it's going to be violent. Our country was based on that. The Revolutionary War was not won because people quietly sat down with a sign in their hand and sitting on the ground like hippies. That didn't happen. So, but what these kids are doing, and I think what they're doing is, whether they realize it or not, they are laying the framework that any kind of rise up that isn't quiet will be punished severely. And then when it's the other side's turn to fight, they will be subject to those laws. So right now, the people who want to defend this country and are willing to take arms to do so are cheering for these people to be thrown in jail, even just because they're associated with this group and didn't necessarily individually do it per se. But they don't realize that these laws are going to apply to them when it's their turn to be upset.
My thing is like, but I somewhat agree with you on like, yeah, okay, I understand with what you're saying with protests. If they were always peaceful, sometimes things wouldn't get done. I get that. But I'm talking about the people just smashing windows, small businesses, Apple stores, Nike stores, Foot Lockers, running in there, grabbing all the shoes and TVs they can. That's not protesting. That's looting. That's crime. You're a thief.
I agree. But what I'm saying is it's laying the framework for this. Because, yeah, I mean, it's the only reason I can think of that this is happening. Because otherwise, I mean, and a lot of times they're bringing people, from what I understand, from out of town into communities and destroying small businesses, large businesses, everything in between. Get arrested and immediately let out. So that way they can say they're doing something about protesters. Although if you immediately release them, you're kind of not really, except getting their DNA, I guess. But
my conspiracy theory is that these Democratic governors are intentionally allowing their cities to be destroyed in order to make the country look bad. You know, so people are like, screw this, I'm voting for someone else. That's my opinion. That's my theory.
I agree.
You know,
because the states are supposed to be able to handle their business on a state level. So if they're completely out of control and not doing what they're supposed to, everybody's going to blame the president for it. But for the president to do something about this, he would have to overstep and send in National Guard. Now, in this country, we're not even supposed to have a standing army. And we're certainly not supposed to have militarized actions happening on U.S. soil. But they're pushing for that. So once it sets that precedent where we can have martial law, where we can do this and that, it's going to apply to everyone. So a lot of people are, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm fine with protesters. And sometimes violent protest is necessary. But I'm pretty sure that Starbucks window did not do anything to you. Okay?
Exactly.
That's shit. But
did you ever see that video?
This kind of behavior is laying the framework for them to be able to pass the type of laws that when it's time to actually, you know, if it is necessary to rise up and reclaim your streets. Like you were talking to me earlier, that some Antifa people showed up at this neighborhood, and the neighborhood drove them out. They had ball bats, and they were starting to surround them. They got back on the bus and left. And they're going to lay the framework to where even that's not going to be allowed.
Well, like it's like those people. There's rich people. I can't remember their names. Shoot. Did you see it? As a rich couple, they had a bunch of people protesting outside like their big house or whatever, and they went out on their lawn with guns.
They tore through the gate, and it was in their front yard, basically. Now, they had some terrible discipline, don't get me wrong, but they were arrested for trying to keep these people off their property and had guns on them, and they're the ones in trouble.
That's not America. That's not America.
I'm talking about. This is setting this to happen, to where if you try to defend your yard, you're going to be the one in trouble.
Exactly. And why do you think that's happening?
Because you don't want independent thought. You don't want people to have a sense of property and self-protection and this and that. They want
to strip us of our rights.
That is exactly what is happening. So there's a shit ton of people who call themselves patriotic. They're absolutely enjoying watching National Guard and everything coming in and doing stuff. And some of the videos are funny. I'm not going to lie. But what happens when it's your turn? Are you just going to stay home, or are you going to end up realizing that you cheered on the very precedent that is going to put you in prison.
See, this is everything that the Constitution was written for, and now they're just trying to ignore it. It's like that's the reason it exists, is to give us these
To
rights,
prevent
and
this
they're
stuff from happening.
no longer abiding by these rights or this Constitution or the amendments. They're not abiding by those rules anymore. They're saying, hey, we don't need those. We're going to rewrite them ourselves, and we're just going to force things to see how much we can get away with and see how much we can control you. And
it's been happening for a very long time. Just people didn't realize it, because every time something happens, it's always someone different than us. So we don't realize that those laws are going to apply to us. When the Patriot Act, which is funny, it's named that because it's very unpatriotic, it was like, oh, well, that's to protect us from the scary Muslims, so that's okay. No, it applies to everyone, including you. So, yeah, you were okay with that. And, of course, the Democrats were upset with it, reasonably so. And then Obama came up with the National Defense Authorization Act, and all the Dems were happy, and the Republicans weren't. And I'm like, this is literally Patriot Act Part 2. Are you not even paying attention? You're okay with rights being taken away as long as it's your guy doing it. You don't think eventually those laws are going to apply to you too, and you're wrong. So when you allow this to happen to someone else, you're actually allowing it to happen to you. It just hasn't happened yet.
Exactly, and that ties back around to a lot of other things too, not just these laws. It goes the same way these social justice warriors online and people who claim like this person said this or that, and then someone they know or like says it, and then they either have to make the choice to agree with them and be wrong, or to be a hypocrite and go against that person. So it's insane just the way people's mentality stick up for wrong people. The fact that a lot of people stick up for celebrities and politicians that they don't know, have never met, amazes me. But
it does. Just because someone's on TV doesn't mean they're worth a shit. Okay, like I try to make a pretty much like a lot of celebrities are against like people having guns. Yeah, that's pretty rich talk coming from somebody who has their own private armed security.
And a gate around their house with a mile a yard between it.
Fucking gate and like your own personal armed security. Of course, you're okay with defunding the police. But don't get me wrong. I'm not big on the police. I think they need to be demilitarized. I think that's not really not defunding per se, but like a lot of their there's this one rule that this law that helps make it hard for you to sue a police officer if they do something wrong. I forget what it's called. But that needs to be stripped away. Like, they need to be held the same or a higher standard than we are, not less than.
Exactly. I think the only thing that needs to be changed about the police is when they do commit crimes themselves, they should be held accountable the same exact way as a citizen would be held. That's what I asked for.
That's the reason why a lot of times I don't like police, because I understand the brotherhood and wanting to look out for each other, and that's great if you're in a war zone. But when you realize that your partner just put some drugs in someone's pocket and then now you're hauling them to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the blue line. That's some crooked gang activity with a badge.
I think if other police officers would, they need to start making some examples out of people. If other police officers would see that there were some that were doing crimes and they were actually getting punished and spending time in jail or whatever, or for murder, they might face either life in prison or the death penalty. If you agree or not with that, who cares?
I'm actually against the death penalty, and it's because our court systems fuck things up so much. So often we see somebody getting out of prison after 20 years because it turns out they were innocent. You kill them.
That drives me up the wall. It's like, Shawshank Redemption, that movie. They didn't get out of prison. They didn't let him out, but, but there are so many people in jail that did not commit crimes. And there are so many people on the streets who have committed tons of crimes.
I mean, if you get caught with 100 pounds of weed, you will spend more time in prison than you would if you had raped someone. What the fuck?
We can say 100 pounds now, but it used to be like an ounce. You know
what I mean, though. But the point is, you go longer for a plant than you would if you actually brutalize somebody.
Especially if you're black. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you'll get extra punishment for that, but still, like, it's insane. Like, what kind of priorities does this judicial system have? There are people in there spending life in prison for weed, and there are people who are like killed somebody and they're going to get out sooner. That's not justice. That's insanity. And so
there's this.
any law enforcement or any authority body that is okay with that and it toes the line, I'm not okay with. So people are like, why do you don't like cops? Let me tell you what. I can tell you some stories, and that's one of them. And that's why you'll never see those blue black stickers on my fucking car ever.
Yeah. Shoot, I was just gonna say something. Lost my train of thought. Go ahead. My mistake. Maybe it'll come back.
I know it sounds sexy. I'm eating. I'm sorry, you guys, but I didn't eat today.
Go at it. Go at it.
Since we're done with Jamie Lee Curtis at the moment.
I'm trying to not pay attention because I'm hungry myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Try me something. But yes, our country's gone to absolute fluff. It's like, and everyone else has got its own shit going on, so there's like nowhere really safe to go. But
I like what you were mentioning earlier about how you see it happen to other people, so you don't worry about it until it happens to you. You know? And that's where we're looking at China and Hong Kong and stuff like that, and we think it can't happen here.
Well, that's messed up, but that's over there. Until one day you realize they own quite a chunk of this country, and it is happening here.
That's what all that TikTok shit's about. About them spying on us through TikTok.
I told my daughter that TikTok's going bye-bye, honey. Sorry, it's a national security risk. And my daughter's like, but I like TikTok. I'm like, yeah, one day you'll like your civil liberties more, I hope.
Yeah. Use the other 8,500 apps on there. You know? I mean, where you can whatever. Right. I don't even know what the apps do.
It was yesterday or the day before, I had shown a little clip that Twitter is deciding to try to help TikTok survive here. And they're going to try to do some kind of business arrangement. Why did
Jack
that
Dorsey's
not fucking surprise me?
Jack Dorsey's an evil man. So that's first and foremost. Of course, he's going to try to do. I'm surprised Zuckerberg hasn't already put his hat in that ring. You know, try to make a bid on that. Or even Bill Gates. He's in real good with the Chinese. If you didn't know, he's like best friends with them. He's all buddy. You ever hear of Wuhan?
Huh?
I said, you ever hear of Wuhan?
What?
I just made a joke. Wuhan is supposedly where the virus came from. The biolab in Wuhan, where they allegedly made the coronavirus.
That might be the only honest thing we've got out of this entire story, was that's where it came from.
Yeah.
But what it is I had said back in January that I found it odd that, it was coming here, but we weren't seeing people seizing and collapsing in the streets like we were there. So either the virus reacts different with them than it does us because of some kind of genetic marker, or what we were seeing were effects from like nerve gas in the air or something, and those are the clips because those the way people were twitching and seizing, that looked like somebody who had just a slight whiff of nerve gas.
I remember that. When the virus first came out, I forgot until just now when you brought that up. Yeah, when it first came out, they were showing all these weird clips of
we haven't
seen
that. We haven't seen that here. And so what I think is it was something else, or it mutated into something more benign, which is possible. But yesterday, I found an article that said that they found a genetic marker in now why the fuck they were testing Neanderthal DNA is beyond me for this, but fucking whatever. Okay. The article said that they were testing and they found similar genetic markers in people from Asia and such that make them more susceptible to this virus than people who did not have this marker. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, check my video from January 22nd. You're fucking welcome. I said that was a fucking possibility. And because I've actually found virus epidemiology stuff actually kind of interesting. So I've kind of half-assed studied it as a hobby for the last 10 years. So technically, if you have a virus, you can damn near design it to do whatever the hell you want. For the most part, if it's like a certain marker that you have blue eyes, you could technically have a virus that only affects or mostly affects people with blue eyes because they carry that marker. Now, there's some people who have green eyes or brown eyes who carry a blue recessive, and it may or may not affect them. So it can be dodgy. But the point is, like, you can technically program them in a way, especially if you have the right equipment and you know what you're doing. So
Holy
it's
shit.
possible that when it came here, but it seems like it's affecting like the poor. Well, the reason why it's affecting the poor and everything, and the elderly
Holy
the most.
shit.
What?
No, I'm great. What you're telling me is blowing my mind right
sorry.
now.
Sorry, but God, yeah, I can pull the video. But like the first video I did the virus, because I was almost like someone I was friends with. I like kind of tried to talk me out of it because he was like, people are gonna start these conspiracy theories, and I'm like, I will try to keep it a little less Alex Jones. But I really feel like I want to be one of the first people to talk about this. And it turned out that very same day, like apparently the Quartering had also put out a video, although it was shorter though. But I was actually talking people. You wouldn't believe how on board people were. The people in the chat, they immediately pointed a finger at Bill Gates. They were talking about like those Georgia guy. I think it was Brian the Observer that mentioned the Georgia Guidestones. Like these people were going balls to the wall in the chat over this. Like I was like, holy shit, this was a better idea than I thought. I'm glad.
There's Georgia Guidestones. But what you were saying before we get to the Guidestones, if you do want to talk about that at all, what I wanted to say is what you just said made a huge light bulb go off over my head about the whole that you're able to adjust a virus to only affect certain kinds of DNA. So if the Chinese make it and release it there,
huh?
What I was going to say, so if it was made from China and it's not affecting China like it is us, that tells me that they manipulated it in order to help not kill their country, but try to destroy ours, is basically what I'm getting from the information you are saying.
Well, they were seizing, so either they were poisoned with something, maybe something in the water, because there's a river that goes through the center of Wuhan. Something could have been put in the water to poison people and spread, and maybe it was programmed to not have a very long shelf life. Like there are certain viruses that don't survive outside a host for very long, for instance. The HIV virus can only live maybe an hour outside the body and it dies. So everything has...
I got it from a toilet seat. I'm joking. It's a joke.
But there is a... So like if you say take a little piece of this virus, the part of the virus that has a short alarm clock, or whatever, and attach it to this and see if you can... Because the way the news does this, they say that the COVID virus and the coronavirus, like it's interchangeable. The coronavirus is actually one of 3 viruses of the common cold. So they use the common cold virus because it spreads very easily, but doesn't last super long, usually. Could somebody please quietly die in another room? Jesus. Anyway, pothead smoking, sorry. Anyway, so they use the coronavirus as a framework. Dr. Shi, that's S-H-I, had talked for years about how they were trying to build upon this framework, and they would add like different parts, genomes of viruses to try to make something of it. And they used bat corona and probably others. And then a lot of her paperwork ended up missing or unable to be found when this outbreak happened, and the U.S. started to question China. They acted like they couldn't find the research papers. But I think if we type it in, we might be able to find some of her talking, because she did a few public speeches all the way up to about 2015. Let me see if I can find it.
What you were talking about, I heard, I'm not saying this is fact. I'm not claiming this is any kind of fact. Something I did hear once, one of those videos I watched online, was that it is basically a virus that already existed and they have manipulated it. And if you microscopically look at the cells or the virus cells or whatever you want to call them, you can see where they have been manipulated. Like you can see how they're abnormal. They wouldn't actually like occur in a natural way or something like that. They look abnormal. Said I'm not claiming that as fact. Something I read or watched. While you're looking that up, I'm gonna go get something to drink. I'll be right back. I'm getting dry here. I've drank everything I got.
There's a lot of Dr. She's. Holy shit. but this will work as good as any.
All right, I'm back. Dead air. I apologize.
But I have an idea. But before I show this video, I'm thinking maybe we should end this stream and start a new one. Because if I play this and they get mad, I want them to kill the other stream, not this one, because this one went so well. Like,
who's gonna get mad?
If I lose like almost 2 hours of stream and.
Are you saying if they like block this out?
Well, I mean, it's someone else's documentary, so they might be like, "Oh, copyright."
That happened to me on a live stream. I played a clip of Saturday Night Live, and I uploaded it, and they blocked my video. But what I did, like, they gave me the option to cut that part out, so that I just went and clicked that. But I don't recommend, doing that if you don't want to.
Me because I put up a speech from the great dictator, and
yeah, I remember that stream.
Oh yeah, they straight deleted the whole fucking 2-hour video over like 2 minutes of that. They straight dropped me and deleted me. Like, they didn't even give me an option of taking that part out.
I remember that.
I went off of them on Twitter because it was so bad. Like the video I posted, like yelling at Twitter. I'm surprised I didn't get banned. I don't know how I didn't. Because I told them I was going to, if I could, I'd ask rate each one of them for everything they've done to YouTubers.
You see me? I'm trying to get banned on Twitter. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to post offensive stuff and just get banned.
I saw it.
It's a joke to me.
Bit my drink. I'm like, what the fuck?
Twitter's a joke to me. I literally use it just so I can do things like this. Every now and then, I'll go on there. I'll be drunk one night. You know it. You'll read it. And I'll say some stupid shit. And then the next day, I'm like, God damn, I let Twitter get the best of me again. That's why I don't like to use it.
Well, it's so funny. Like, you call Camilla Harris the F word, and I'm like, and you're like, I only did that. Doesn't make any sense, but I'm testing my limits here. And I was like,
yeah, I want to see where the line is drawn. I want to know where their standards lie. I want to know what they are searching, what their keywords are, what they want to hone in on. Is it political? Is it certain sexual or gender words?
I think it could be like 60-40 of people reporting it and them looking for it. Because I'm assuming nobody reported you for it. So
yeah, because I got no followers. No one reads it anyway. I got no followers. No one read it anyway.
Well, okay, Slasher brought it to my attention. He goes, "What's going on with Hoff?" I'm like, "Fuck you mean?" He goes, and he like post in private chat. He showed me your tweet, and I went to. I was like, I found that way funnier. I think anybody else did.
It was supposed to be a joke. She's not that. She is not the F word. And I don't even use that word in real life.
I don't know.
But
technically, that means you like guys, so I assume she likes guys. So I mean, I don't know, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I got a chuckle, and he's like, my friend was like, "Is he okay?" I'm like, "He's fine. He's gonna be fine. Like, he will be okay. Like,
don't worry about me."
From him. You see, when you do stuff new, people it unsettles people. It gets their attention. Even if someone else is talking about this kind of stuff, they're like, "Wait. We didn't expect it from this guy, so we're unsettled." Like, no. It's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. You're going to be all right. He'll smooth out.
I want to let everyone know I am not a depressed kind of guy. I am not medically diagnosed with any kind of mental illnesses or anything. I do like to drink. So sometimes I get drunk and I say stupid things, but that's about it. I'm not a depressed guy. I'm not as crazy as I put it out there sometimes with the things I say. I truly just want to know what's going on.
And for all our political comments, he did not commit suicide. Nor would I, because I'm way too much of an asshole to do so. So if we get suicide in the back of our heads, just know, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't us. We didn't do it. Yeah.
Right?
If you find me on the end of a rope, guess what? I didn't tie it.
Damn Skippy. That should be like our disclaimer banner at the bottom. Like, just in case this pissed someone off, we did not commit suicide.
Yeah, exactly. I'd leave a note.
It's funny, it's kind of true. But yeah. So anyone who follows me is in the Discord I post. So about useless, right? So they banned him. He's like, I have Discord. Fuck y'all.
If we're
I
gonna
have
acknowledge the
Discord
chat,
because like so much news and information from around the world I can get to really fast, and I like that.
to acknowledge the chat, I did want to say I noticed that Darth Haster, if I'm pronouncing that right, did subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Four Corners Report. Thank you very much. Good to meet you. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying. That's all.
Yes, I am glad y'all are here. I'm very excited, and like, yeah, I figured everybody here is kind of used to my peculiar sarcasm, so I was like, they should be all right with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because a while back you were kind of mentioning like kind of wanted to talk about it was like last time you were streaming. I think we're on somebody else's channel, and you were kind of wanted to talk about it. I'm like, oh, believe me, Luke probably is thinking something similar, more than you realize. Like,
I did want to. I wanted to say thank you for having me on here. I'm not trying to wrap it up or anything. I'm just wanted to say thanks. And obviously, I do a stream soon. I'd like to have you on. I'd like every now and then I do like my own stuff. I do my own stream, but then I like to have a group, and I want you and Slasher, like one of those streams again. That's very fun.
Oh, yeah, Slasher's a good one to have because he's very unintrusive. He's very nice. And also, he lives in New York. And so he can tell you firsthand how much of a shit show is happening there, like at ground level of a shit show that he is witnessing. And how, like, fucking stupid the politicians and some of the people, not all of them. Like, I don't know who everybody's from, so, not everybody. You're at my channel, there's a good chance you already know what we're talking about. But, yeah, this whole shit show going on. So, yeah. I reported yesterday that Cuomo thought it would be only politically based if somebody tried to investigate the situation where he had ordered sick people to be put with the elderly in the nursing home, and it caused the elderly to die. And he doesn't want an investigation. Well, like, of course not. If I was responsible for killing a bunch of people, I'd probably be hesitant about getting an investigation, too.
Now, that's one of the craziest things that came out of New York, in my opinion, was that whole story about sending sick people into the nursing home. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like big buildings in a separate wing that doesn't have, like, elderly, that's a bad idea. And if your workers don't know how to, like, wash their hands every single time or whatever, they're going to spread it to somebody else. Anyway, but you put people in with a bunch of elderly people, and now you don't want an investigation. I hope all the families get together and drag him out of his house by his fucking hair and beat his ass. Come at me, bro. Seriously.
Well, I mean, like we were talking about that tweet earlier that said that coronavirus can travel farther indoors. Well, there's a prime example of that. Nursing home, send sick people in there.
But yeah, open doors and fresh air, that's what was needed. Like, we all know that. But they're trying to convince us that hiding in our houses is the best thing. Yeah, if it's a chemical attack, sure. But
yeah. You're not letting coronavirus in if you just have your window open, Like, it's not. That's not
your window going in your fucking window, which is not going to. What are the odds of that? That's silliness. Anyway. But fresh air, sunshine, that's going to help.
There are parks where you have to make reservations before you can go to them, and there are miles and miles of just clear land where people won't even see each other for, quite a while out there on trails and whatnot. And you have to make reservations, and you have to wear a mask when you go in. It's just like, what is going on? Have we really lost our minds? I
roll my eyes when I'm in traffic, and I look over the car next to me, and the person's wearing a mask in their car, and there's nobody else in the car. Like, I roll my eyes so hard, I'm surprised my steering wheel doesn't accidentally veer the wrong direction. I'm just like... The
first time I saw that, I was like...
on the sidewalk by themselves. They're walking along the road on the sidewalk with a mask on. I'm like, is the concrete contagious?
My mother... my mother...
Sometimes you're afraid to have dust blow in your face, and I get that. But I don't remember seeing people block dust from their face much before.
Now, I will say this. My mother is a little bit older, so I understand if she wants to wear a mask because it does affect a little bit older people. She's in her 60s. But my mother told me, she's like, I like wearing the mask. I'm like, what?
I kind of like the idea of like cameras not being able to get a total read out of my face. So that's my own personal thing.
Well,
But
she never mentioned anything about that. She just said I like wearing a mask. That's bad.
well, if she likes it, that's fine. Okay, I'm happy she likes it. But forcing people to do it and imprisoning them and punishing them worse than you would actual criminals is insane. This is control freak central going on, and it's just I just can't with these people. And some of these people are just falling into line way too easy. Like, I believe in picking my fights, so there's not gonna be a video of me on Twitter where I'm yelling at the store clerk and throwing things at him over a face mask. No. If I go to Walmart, I have my mask like in my purse or on my wrist, and they're like, "Could you put that on?" Oh yeah, okay. Put it on. Go in there, get what I need, take it off when I walk out, and that's it. Like, if I go to a store that doesn't care, then I won't wear it. I don't care. Like, but I don't believe that other people basically set themselves on fire to keep me warm, and the government has no business doing that to them. Because when you make laws, at the end of those laws is a gun barrel to force a person. And I'm not prepared to have someone held at gunpoint over something like this for me.
Oh, absolutely. You know, my thing is like I don't care. I'll wear the mask if it's required somewhere. Mainly because I have a guilty conscience. I don't want to go in thinking like, oh, what if it is real, and what if I do kill somebody or whatever.
The virus is real. It's just it's not as dangerous as they're saying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not calling it fake. That came out the wrong way. I'm not calling it completely fake. I do think it's a bit of a hoax and overblown, but what I'm saying is I don't think it's what they're saying it is.
We gotta be careful with the word hoax because people will think we're saying the virus isn't real. We feel that the numbers have been inflated insanely. And so instead of the 300,000 people who die from flu, asthma, pneumonia, and all this a year, those are the statistics are being lumped into a COVID statistic. And it's actually probably more survivable. Like, there's like one lady on my Facebook that she's been, I don't know, using it at like pulling her COVID card to like, well, take it from me when I say this and this. And I'm like, you're still alive and you're doing okay. She supposedly has had it for like 4 months now and keeps testing positive. She doesn't want to believe that her tests could be wrong, but whatever. So she's supposed to be our expert now because she happens to have it. But she's still alive. She's not in the
for 4 months.
She's still alive, hiding in her apartment with her cat.
She's had COVID for 4 months?
Yeah.
And she's lived for 4 months with COVID?
Antibodies. If you've caught it
That's
ever,
insane.
Of course
Okay.
they have the antibodies. They're probably testing the goddamn antibodies. She's going to keep them.
Let's look at it both ways. Yeah, let's look at it both ways. Let's say she does have COVID. Then yeah, she's fine.
Still alive. She's not in the hospital. She's not on a ventilator.
Yeah. Let's say she doesn't have COVID.
Feel good, but that woman's had on and off health issues for a while anyway.
Yeah, Darth Haster, I've talked about this a lot. The hospitals, I think I mentioned it earlier too, about the hospitals getting money for ventilators.
Yeah, they try to money from that funding. That's why they do it. So yeah. Have
like
you
17 was it 17 grand or ventilator?
I have not, but I don't know if it's going to piss me off. If Mad Dog Mattis has turned into a mad bitch, I'm going to be like, no, he's like the hardcorest we've had since Patton. If that guy is bit me at the knee, I'm done. But the point is, like, the way a person would have to basically bundle up to protect themselves from the virus is not what we're doing. Okay, we would need like basically I forget what they call it. It's like a self-contained breathing apparatus. We would
scuba.
Suit up. We basically have to look like people from the movie Outbreak to prevent ourselves from coming into contact with it. They're like, you see these plastic shields that have this much area, so even if you cough, it can bounce, but whatever. At the fucking convenience store. But I don't see anybody sanitizing the goddamn buttons when I run my freaking debit card. Nobody's cleaning those. Sonic has a sign that says, "Oh, we sanitize these buttons for your safety." Never once have I seen anybody come out and wash those buttons. Not ever. So
every time I walk, Every time I walk into a gas station, I gotta grab that handle and open the door. It's not that way at Walmart, but for like a gas station or something, you do
Oh,
have to
me,
do
I
that.
try to use my forearm and hook it around and pull it and catch my foot with it and open it because I don't like nasty ass doorknobs anyway. Even
Yeah,
before
I
they
don't
got
either.
rid of the germaphobe. So
Where I work, they had these in even before coronavirus. But where I work in the bathrooms, they have these little things on the bottoms of the door. It's like like for your foot, and you can just use
I've
your
seen
foot to
that at
open the
Home
door.
Depot.
So, yeah,
You use your foot
I
to
love
open the
those.
door. Love it, love it.
Big fan.
All public bathrooms should have that. I love.
Yeah, I don't want to touch. I'm not worried about the virus. I just don't want to touch piss or shit
Right.
on the handle.
Or there are viruses. Everybody seems to have forgotten there are other viruses still out there. There's still pneumonia.
Yeah.
Once in a
Oh yeah.
while, you get a little outbreak of bubonic plague, which is fixable with antibiotics if caught soon enough. But the point is, there are other things than COVID. COVID is not the only thing out there anymore. Don't act like it is. And I don't know. I don't know how much of a stoner you are, but I live with stoners, and I have noticed something very interesting. That
Is this
every time
basement
there's
away?
cold flu stoners, cold flu season, COVID, magically nobody cares when they're sharing like a joint and this and that.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't seen a single one of them get sick. I'm starting to wonder, like, have you heard about like when a mom has a baby and she's breastfeeding, as the baby starts to get sick, the breast milk changes colors slightly to try to help fight off the disease. That similar concept. So, yeah, I've read some weird shit, but it doesn't change a lot, just like a slight tint change. Mm-hmm. But the point is, I think that might be something with stoners, because a lot of times they will sit within close proximity of each other. They'll share the same weed pipe, the same joint, pass it along, and I've not seen any of the people that participate in that really ever get sick. No matter if it's flu
because
season,
you build up your immune system.
Season. Yes,
Yeah, you
because
build
it's
up your
almost
immune
like a herd
system.
immunity. They're keeping each other going. So keeping each other isolated, unless somebody's in super serious danger, I think we should start hugging more.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody, smoking weed with your neighbors. Smoke weed with your neighbors. I'm endorsing that. So
go out and smoke some weed with your neighbors.
Exactly. I mean, because I don't think necessarily smoking the weed itself is preventing this, because sucking in smoke doesn't necessarily really technically good for anyone. But technically, being in close proximity and sharing like a similar environment and immune system, or keeping each other's built up, could be something. Because, like I said, no matter what, I've never seen a stoner hardly ever get sick, especially when they have a tendency to normally spend the same, like with the neighbors, and they all sit around and smoke. I haven't seen any of them hardly ever get sick at all.
Philip Blair says here in the chat.
I don't know how to put a name on it.
Philip saying in the chat, scientists in Canada were looking at long-term cannabis use by smoke and COVID resistance. So there might be something there.
There might be. Okay, that's possible, but I hadn't known about that. But I'm saying, witnessing with my own eyes, the lack of illness among stoners that socially share and smoke together. I see almost no sickness, like hardly ever.
Real quick, I've been sitting here sipping for the last 2 hours. I really need to take 2 minutes. Restroom.
Bio break.
You go ahead and you just chat it up. I'll be right back. All right.
I did take a bio break too. I've been dying. I've drank.
Let me go first. I called it.
It's fine.
I'll take over when I get back. I'll take over and you can go. All right. Okay. I got less than a minute. All right. I gotta go.
Apparently, all right. So there's no tie-in knot in it. He's got to go. Okay, that's fair. Issues with weed hemp is mainly because of the Hearst family. I don't know who the Hearst family is, but most of our weed laws were based on racism, because some fucking twat back in the 1930s was afraid that the jazz cabbage was going to make white people want to be with people with more melanin, basically. So out of racist fear, God forbid who our darling Cindy might bring home, they made weed illegal, and then propaganda spiraled out from there with weed, reefer madness, and how I remember in school, in like junior high, when they would have these stupid fucking dare people come talk to us, and they were liars, honestly, because like as an adult, I have not been offered drugs nearly as often as dare promised would happen. That was quite a disappointment in real world life, I'm telling you. But the point is that it all started in propaganda. It was because, like, opium was legal for a while. and then it became illegal for the Chinese to use, even though they were bringing it in because they couldn't trust Asians with, drugs like opium. So they couldn't have it, but everybody else could. And then, of course, it spread from there. Yes, exactly, Splitter or Slatter. Lucy was loosely portrayed in Citizen Kane. I would have to. Oh my God, Dare! Yes, the fucking Dare program. One of my only, well, I didn't watch Cops much, but one of my favorite episodes, they were arresting a guy who was wearing a Dare shirt. And they found meth in his pocket. He was like, "You're wearing this shirt and you really have meth in your pocket? Really?" And the guy's like, it was funny as hell. Okay, so it was William Hurst.
I'm back.
I was explaining to them how the laws of weed were started in racism because they were afraid that people who smoked jazz cabbage might get with someone darker. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I heard it. I heard everything
not,
you said.
Not our family.
I heard everything you said. I got wireless.
I did not know that. Okay, well then you're caught up. All right, so that's where we're at in the opium.
Look at these buds.
Expanded. So anytime there's laws, it'll eventually just be expanded to everybody. It happens again and again. Our gun laws were based in racism from Jim Crow era, and then just expanded to everyone because they were, and some things just don't change. More likely to be targeted by police or whatever they had back then. I guess regular beat cops, patrols, and more likely to arrest black people. And so, of course, that would take away their right to protect themselves from like the Klan and everything else. So those laws expanded to everyone else. Every time there's a law that prevents someone's right, it will expand and include you eventually. This is why I think a lot of laws need to be repealed in general.
Well, yeah, of course.
A lot of them are outdated and archaic. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, if someone goes in with a gun and robs a bank, then yeah, you fucked up. But like any felony will make you lose your gun, even if it wasn't like if you got caught with too much weed and they gave you a felony, but it wasn't a violent crime. You didn't show that you couldn't be trusted
to
protect yourself.
Yeah. So stupid. That's so stupid. I wanted to bring up something about Dare real quick since you were talking about Dare. When I was in like first grade, second grade, we had a Dare officer, and it was Officer Mudd, M-U-D-D. Yeah, his name was Mudd. Pun intended. I mean, that really was his name. Like my name is Mudd. It's a Primus song. Whatever. Let's not get into that. Regardless, I remember I had him first, second grade, and then about like sixth grade, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, did you hear about Officer Mudd?" I was like, "Nah," and she's like, "Oh yeah, he was caught like with young girls in his car, like not his cop car, but like his actual car."
Oh!
I was like, "Awesome, that's the guy who's trying to tell me what to do."
Told me not to smoke weed while he was diddling girls. Oh Lord.
Yep. He got arrested.
To the conclusion that the majority of the time, when someone is trying really hard to indoctrinate and control people, they are actually somewhat compensating for their own flaws and the bad things that they are doing.
Absolutely. That's why Ghislaine Maxwell, the last couple times she was seen in public, she was doing charity work for child trafficking.
Oh, yeah, that is a nice accessible means to kids, of course. But yeah, exactly. Like the harder you try to virtue signal, the more eyes go pee more. You're right. I'll be back.
Well, here we go. I will try to entertain you until she gets back. I know I'm not as fun. But if we're just going to talk about stuff like, authority over the world, and where we stand and what power we have to come back against authority. Well, that's the main thing. Authority is changing. The same authorities we have or we had back then are not the same ones we have now. They're different people in power. And the way that's working is the new people in power no longer believe that you should have any rights at all whatsoever. They believe that you should be punished to the fullest extent unless you are on their side politically. And that's what is insane. Or if you're the wrong race, then you're going to be punished really bad. Of course, you understand all that with the George Floyd stuff. LDE Pixels, Hop, you have a channel. Please post. I do. I think someone did post it in the chat earlier. If you just search Hoffcast, it might come up. But if not, I will try to post it here in just a little bit myself. So thank you for being interested. But the kind of control that she is, I was just talking about how I felt like a new girl myself when I came back after my break.
Love it.
But I was just talking about how the people who are in control now are not the same people who were in control before. So it's not the same regime of authority that we were used to back in the day. It's a new regime. It's new people with a new age, and the things that are being like, yeah, like the things that they come down on are ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like they're starting to ease up a little bit on marijuana laws, but still, I mean, if you run into the wrong cop, guess what? They're not gonna like ignore it. You know, they're gonna try to push that to the fullest extent and try to make you out to be a criminal for that. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, oh man, I didn't know how that had to go. Sorry. Anywho, oh, thank you, Dart.
Yeah, thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
You have a
great chat.
I made him a mod yesterday, the day before. Because I really don't see the need for a lot of mods because I don't usually have have a whole bunch of people and nobody ever gets really out of line. So, like, for the most part, the mods I have was like the ones I had from last year. It was like 3, maybe 4. That's it.
Yeah,
and partially because at different times, like if I'm streaming, they might be busy. So another one can. The Slasher is one. Sith Lord is one. Darth Hasher, as of I think yesterday or the day before, is now one. Because it's easier for me to try to dig around and find the link that he could just put it in. And he's never caused trouble, so I have no reason to think he's a problem.
No, their chat has been great tonight. Everyone that's been participating, I'm loving everything they're saying. They're giving me information. You know, they're engaging in the talk. I love that.
I'm not one of those people that have 40 people in my chat, but the people who do come, they are solid, and that matters.
Quality over quantity. That's what I say.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, I've seen
some quality
people had 100 people in the chat, and it's like it's fucking chaos. I don't need 100 people in my chat. That's chaos. I can't. Oh my god. You know. Yeah, but
Ian Slater, thank you for subscribing. We did talk about Harris a little bit earlier in the stream. Do we have anything to add to that? I mean,
oh my god!
I could go on for a while, but I mean, if you want to rewatch the stream, you'll see a good portion of this.
This isn't Twitter, so like,
I won't say that. Don't worry about that. I ain't gonna get that.
It's funny, but yeah, don't get me shut down, bro. Don't taste.
I'm not gonna. No, do not worry. But, there's only one F word I use.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I've been wrenching for Valkyries since it started. Purple Valkyrie. She's a nice girl, and I thought it was funny, like because I have Valkyrie wings on my arm, so now he's modding for another Valkyrie as well. Well, my mom used to call me her little Valkyrie when I was little, so that's part of the reason I got these put on. Was that
these are cool.
That night, the preview of Max Payne. Although the preview of Max Payne turned out to be better than the actual movie, because I actually thought we were going to have Valkyries grabbing people. I was pretty disappointed. I was like,
no, I never saw the movie. I played the first game.
I never knew it was a game until the movie came out.
I played the game and then the movie. I never saw the movie. I remember there's this really weird level in the game where you go in like a dream state and you're walking like through this room and it's all black in there and you can't see the floor. So if you walk in the wrong direction, you fall off the floor. It was a lot of fun. No. So you're just guessing basically.
But yes, Ian, yeah, I'll go find it and show it to you. But yeah, we did talk about Kamala Harris a little bit ago. Let me go find the little picture so you can see. Because we were talking about how she was, I assume, a crooked cop, because I always assume the worst. Anyway, but found this shit today, a few hours ago, wrong way, yeah.
I do that all the time.
So apparently she did not prosecute touchy-feely priests like she should have, and even took bribe money, basically. I mean, it's campaign donations, which is a classy way of saying bribe.
Hey, you think this woman doesn't diddle kids herself? Come on, she's with Joe Biden.
But apparently it's not a deal breaker for her.
It ain't out yet, but it will be. Okay. I'm not saying it's a fact. This is my theory.
A deal breaker for her should be enough to discredit her.
What'd you say?
I'm not usually one of those if you're not with us, you're against us attitudes, but this particular subject kind of am. Like, something's got to be a hard no, and Chomo shit's it. That's definitely top of my list. It's a hard no.
I think all these people are in the same weird, sick ring, all supporting each other, all trying to have each other's backs so they don't get outed for the terrible.
Yeah, they all have dirt on each other, and so like, yeah, they're gonna look out for each other to make sure the other, because they're so afraid. If I crash and burn, you're gonna crash and burn, and they like I don't know if she actually said it, but someone said that Hillary during the first election said if he wins, we're all gonna hang. Better fix this. Now, I don't know if she actually said it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the political mentality that they have in general. Is like, because nobody trusts anybody, really. At least I doubt it. So, like, if, say, you and I were in cahoots doing bad shit and you went to jail, I'd be, like, kind of worried that you were going to rat me out while you're in there.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to do my best. So I'm going to do my best to get you out of jail any way I can to make sure you don't.
Absolutely. You know? See? Yeah. But you're going to do it as low-key as you can. You're probably going to pay someone else to get...
Yeah. Like, fight it. Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, no, this isn't reasonable. Well, this isn't your jurisdiction. Fucking pardon somehow, some fucking way. Pay a judge, something. So that way you're not in jail and I don't have to worry about you not having my back. But remember, I got you out of jail, so you owe me. You owe me a favor, buddy. And so there it goes. So now you're in my pocket. I'm worried about you ratting me out, so I'm kind of in yours. And that's our political system.
Absolutely. It's House of Cards, you know. One falls, it all comes down.
House of Cards either, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I wasn't actually referencing the show.
Another freak of Hollywood.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey. Go ahead.
When he came out, he was like, when he came out, he was like, I choose to live my life as a gay man. And Wanda Sykes was like, no. You don't get to hide under our umbrella after your stunt. Go kick rocks. So I was like,
that's exactly what I was going to bring up. That is 100%. It's like they came out like, hey, you diddled kids. And he's like, well, I'm gay. It's like, well, that's not the issue. The issue is not that you're gay.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think you should touch anyone who cannot sign contracts on their own without their parents. End of story.
Yep. See,
that should be a good basis right there.
Kevin Spacey to me is the biggest example, in my opinion, of an actual factual person who has been called out, who's basically just admitted to these things. He hasn't denied a single thing he's ever really done.
Yeah, he thought being gay was going to protect him. It's like, no, diddling kids is wrong, okay? Like, get that through your thick, stupid head. Nobody cares if you're diddling another dude, okay? Kids is a problem.
It's probably the worst thing that you can do besides like rape or murder. It's all on the same level to me, but like
it's a smidge worse because kids are more vulnerable. But I mean, it's all still shit. It's still bad. Adult at least might have some way of fighting back. They're at least old enough to own a gun so they can try to defend themselves. A kid doesn't have that same power, so it's just why it's worse because they're vulnerable. But
not just that, because
it's still against Geneva Convention, that kind of behavior.
Also, the kid is innocent, and the kid's entire life is going to be ruined. They're probably going to have mental issues and all kinds of problems.
It can happen to adults too, though. Like, adults can be innocent, or at least innocent enough not to deserve that, you know? And, some girl, for instance, could be arrested or whatever for shoplifting a lipstick at Walmart, and the cop does something to her. She doesn't deserve it because she tries to steal some lipstick.
No.
He's just a shit cop. You know, for instance, they'd be like, well, yeah, she's a criminal. So what? People should have to abide by the Geneva Convention, and sexual torture is
she's
against
frozen.
that.
Well, there you go.
I am?
You froze up for a second. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
A few times too. I guess it's my turn.
I didn't think I thought I was doing better because I got hardwire now. I'm not going through Wi-Fi anymore, so I thought it might be a little bit.
I got mine wired in too, just because I don't trust.
I thought it might be a little bit smoother, but I guess not. I did see that StreamYard.
You don't do it a lot. You do it every once in a while. It's not that much.
Well, every now and then I see it refresh. I see my screen like put a little wheel. There's a little wheel that goes. What is it?
And now the big P is trying to infiltrate. Not good. I don't like it. F the big P. I absolutely agree. Yes, the LGBTQ community has come out and mentioned that a lot of pedos are trying to infiltrate the community, and that's not what they're about. They're about, people who can consent.
You should not have pride in being a pedophile.
Yeah, like they just want to be able to marry, within legal, obvious sense, marry whoever they want to, and that's fine. I don't think a guy or a girl being able to not marry should ever been a law. I feel like that's government overreach. Just like when it used to be illegal for someone white to marry someone who wasn't white. It was illegal, and I think was an overstep. So the fact that people had to fight for a right to marry someone of age that they wanted is insane. And I mean, within reason. Obviously, your sister would be gross, but you get what I'm saying. Like, someone who won't cause mutation in the genetics, for instance, But like, government has been overreaching, and now they're doing it in a different way. Now they're making some of the things okay that shouldn't be okay, and like if anyone speaks out, God help them. Yeah, and Kevin Spacey traveled numerous times to Epstein Island. That doesn't surprise me in the least.
Of course he did. Yeah. He probably was living out there. He probably had his own place. Yeah, probably has his own
parking spot. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Reserved for case space.
That was probably forwarded.
Oh my God, it made me laughing about this, but you got to find humor in some things, I guess. I heard something about this Postmaster General thing. I don't remember exactly what the story was.
Are you going to vote third party? Because your other option isn't so good.
You think Biden cares about the post office?
Biden doesn't care about anything but little girls.
Yeah. Sniffing hair.
It's such a weird thing. And he's caught on camera so many times doing it. Like, how many times has he done it without a camera there? Like, what the fuck? It's like, and look on these people's faces, like, he'll have his hand on his shoulder, like, leaning in there, like looking hella uncomfortable, like, old guys.
I will say this. I'll say this to Philip Blair. Vote for whoever you want to vote for. It's your right to do so, but make sure you do the right amount of research before you cast your vote.
But I do reserve the right to roll my eyes if necessary.
No, it's your show. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, because really what our politics has come down to is we're fighting over which of our politicians is less skeezy. Really, it's not even about, this policy is going to help the economy. This one is going to help reform judicial issues. No, it's your politician sniffed on more people. Well, your politician groped on more people. That's where we're at. This, unfortunately,
it's sad.
A third party won't unseat Trump. It would if everybody would vote for him.
Attitude.
Right?
Yeah, not with that attitude.
Yeah. If enough people vote, it will. But the point is, the other choice is not good because you got a crooked cop and a hair sniffer is the other option. I mean, this is really the best. There's got to be Democrats up there that are smart and honest, or at least semi-honest, at least honest enough to kind of get their foot in the door. You're telling me this is the best pair they could come up with? This is what they can muster? Are you kidding?
Of course. They're decent Democrats.
I don't understand why we don't have a Republican try to run too. I don't get that. I don't understand why we don't, at least not anyone I've heard of, has tried running at all. Like, I'm surprised that no Republican has tried to at least get in there as a ringer and try to get the votes from Republicans who do not like Trump and try to get those votes. Like, I'm surprised. Why is he, like, man, it costs like $35,000 to try to get on the presidential ballot, I think. At least in one state. I don't remember what it is. But my best chance is running for governor and hoping I can do something at least with Oklahoma. Like, man, there's going to be a lot of potheads released. Let me tell you fucking what. Cool. Like, you're in jail because you couldn't pay your fines? That's in debtor's prison. I'm pretty sure that was struck down in 1833 or something with 3. And then reaffirmed stay struck down in 1983 by the Supreme Court. So, people who are in jail just because they couldn't pay a fine, going to be released. Like, shit like that. Like, I'm going to fix a jail overcrowding by actually, like, having people who are not an actual danger to society released. That's what I'll do. On top of a few other things, I'm going to take away the police quota thing. You're supposed to uphold the law and the Constitution because it's your job and you signed up, not because you want bonuses necessarily. How about you just do the right thing for the right reason, and maybe good things will come your way. So, yeah, an asset forfeiture? Are you fucking kidding? You're telling me that if my kid, and 13-year-olds can be sneaky, ends up selling weed, and I could lose my house and she's caught? Are you fucking kidding me? Even if I had nothing to do with it. Does nobody remember being a teenager? We got away with some shit our parents never knew about. Come on. Like, no.
Yeah, that's kind of a bullshit law. I wanted to go back to the thing that we were
talking. Keep your stuff. There has been times, even in Oklahoma, which usually we keep our shit fairly all right, but even sometimes not, that people have been arrested and had their property taken, and even if they weren't convicted, like their stuff was asset was forfeited even without a conviction, and sometimes they weren't even found guilty and they never got their shit back. That's not right. That's like road pirates. That's what that is.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's thievery. Yeah, it's street
so
robbery.
I would get rid of that shit too. I would try to treat their property like a kid. Like, they get arrested, we'll try to find the next of kin to put in charge of it, until they're out of jail, something like that. Not just to steal from people. Oh, he did something wrong, I get to steal everything you ever worked for. No, that's not how we should be. I thought we seceded from a country so we wouldn't have that kind of insanity. Everybody's like, America's the greatest country on earth. It's had its good moments and its bad moments, but it always still has something going on. We're not the country we should be, but we could be. But we need to stop this. We need to stop.
I did want to
stop putting up with shit with politicians allowing these people to do this. Because right now, voting for a long time is like going shopping with your wife. She has gone through the store. She has picked out the 2 outfits that she likes the best, and then she asks you, which one do you like, to give you the illusion of choice when she already has decided which one she actually likes. And you vote. That is voting in America. And probably a lot of places on earth. Probably. Because that's what that is. Because...
Yeah. I mean, are you still there? You froze up again.
No, I'm here.
It's refreshing. There you are. There you are. You froze up for a second. I'm glad you brought that back around because I didn't want to completely digress from what you were saying, go back to a previous point. But what I wanted to say about something you were talking about earlier with why don't the Democratic Party actually nominate someone who is a decent person? Well, let me tell you why.
People who are fed up with both sides. Why is there not a Republican running as well? Like, what the fuck's going on?
I'll tell you what. They won't allow it. They won't allow it. I'm not a Bernie guy, but look what they did to him twice.
I know. I felt bad for him. I felt like you're feeling bad for a communist. I felt bad for him. Like, they railroaded him so dirty. I'm like,
they won't allow that kind of thing. They won't allow an outsider. They are all the same people in that little regime. Not all the same people, but there's.
How come they don't have another Republican running? Yep, Joe Biden bragged about asset forfeiture and thievery. Yeah, see? So fucking thieves, pirates. Not even like cool pirates, like shitty, skeezy pirates, like chomo-y pirates. Ugh.
They have beards.
It's politics. You gotta be really clean to cut somewhat.
It was a
anyway,
joke.
Oh, my back. Ooh, my back is killing me sitting here so long. Ooh, I'm getting old. They are currently looking for a bike phone just in case. I don't know if you're joking, but you're probably right because Weekend at Bernie's is about to completely expire, and they have they're lining her up to be president because
that's it.
Like, a few articles even said if and when he steps aside, she will be president. So you think Biden before even an election has happened?
Look at Biden now. Imagine if he won a second term. I mean, not going to happen, but imagine if he did stay in office and won a second term. How out of his mind is this guy going to be? He's going to be in his 80s.
That's why she is actually going to be one,
She's the one. She is the presidential candidate. He's not. He's a placeholder. He's going to either resign or die, or they're going to remove him somehow, or he's going to retire. He's not going to last 4 years or 8 years. He's not going to last either of those. What's going to happen is you're going to be voting for Harris, and that's it. You're not voting for Biden if you do vote for Biden. You're not voting for him.
Yeah, pretty pretty much true. And she said that he, like a couple months ago, she said he was nothing but a racist and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And now suddenly she's like, with him.
Soon change real quick.
Probably knows she's going to be president. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be associated with him.
Absolutely. They're all scum. It's all scum.
Oh yeah, they eat each other alive and everyone else. Like, it's insane.
Hey, here's another subject we can talk about real quick. What about the debates? Are they going to happen? Are they not going to happen? Why did it take so long for Joe Biden to pick a running mate? That should have been done months ago. We're less than 3 months out from the election.
But I think they wanted to see how well he did on his own first, get as many votes as he could on his own, and then just as an extra, like, flipping the nitrous switch at the last minute, get the extra push by getting her in to try to recoup some of the embarrassment and votes he lost because of his goofy racist comments. And so he's probably being told that she's his token person to use to help get those votes while he's 100%. Actually going to be kicked aside.
But how insulting is it? If I were her, I would be insulted because he said my running mate will be
she's been promised the presidency. She probably doesn't find it that insulting.
No, but he's like, I'm going to pick a woman of color. He's not like, I'm not going to pick the best qualified person, no matter their race, color, creed, gender, whatever. I'm going to pick a woman of color.
It's the
most popular one. Yep.
Yeah, he wants to win those votes back that he lost by saying stupid shit, and that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, the only way he can not look racist is to have a black running mate.
Eminem caught a lot of shit for using the bundle of sticks word that starts with an F.
Yeah, the one I used yesterday on Twitter.
By it. And so he did a concert with Elton John to try to show how he wasn't homophobic or anything.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what just happened. Yeah.
It couldn't be any more fake. It couldn't be any more fake.
The presidency, and so she's kissed the right ass, and so, yeah, she's going to help him get through that door, and then they're going to decide what's going to be done after that.
See, that's the thing. Like, none of these people actually believe anything that they say. Besides Biden, who lets his racist comments slip out like farts in the wind. But, and speaking of farts, have you seen the video of him where he farted on a live stream? That was pretty funny. Look that up. Joe Biden farted on a live stream about 2 months ago. He didn't realize he did it. It's clear as day. There's no question. It wasn't the seat. It's hilarious.
I'm not going to lie. I would vote for Yeezy too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that guy
sounds fun.
Kanye might be a little bit out there, but the guy, some of the stuff he says makes sense, man. I'm not gonna lie. He might say it in the wrong way, but what actual context?
Anybody. His shit sounds a little too so out there. It couldn't possibly be trying to actually bullshit anybody. Mm-hmm. Anybody who sounds too perfect, suspect them. They cannot be trusted.
Absolutely.
So I actually kind of like him. Like, people are like, oh, well, he's got depression. And so does, like, millions of other people. And, maybe he'll have good ideas for having mental health care. I
was going to say that's one thing that I wouldn't like him about being president is, like, I would rather have someone who's stable, like, emotionally. Like, I don't want a president who's just erratic.
That's just the thing. None of them are. So we might as well go for someone who actually does things with with feeling and honesty. I mean, shit.
I see where you're coming from.
At least we didn't see Yeezy's name on the fucking plane list, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, thank God.
So that helped.
Actually, I am amazed by how much Kanye is not owned by like the global elites and the New World Order.
That's why they try to make him look crazy. That's why they show you little bits and clips. Now, he probably is a little out there, or those clips wouldn't be there at all. But, yeah, he's not as owned as everybody else. And he's trying to get other people not to be owned either.
The shit he was saying about how he's...
The way it comes across, it puts people off.
Yeah, the shit he was saying about... Philip Blair, Yeezy is Kanye West. Anyways, the shit he was saying about his life was saved because he was going to be aborted. His mother saved his life.
Not know about that.
Watch it. Yeah, that was a big video from a few weeks back, maybe about a month ago. He was like at this big press conference. He was wearing a bulletproof vest.
Oh, a
Like,
tactical vest? I saw that.
yeah,
That was weird. You hear what was going
yeah,
on?
and then
I was like, what the fuck?
he's very anti-abortion. He's talking about how, which the weirdest thing to me was how he's talking about how he saved his own child's life, which means that that leaves one other mark in the equation, which would be Kim Kardashian. Am I wrong? She wanted to abort the baby.
That's possible.
Am I wrong?
That's possible. He probably wasn't trying to outright say it, but yeah.
Well, he did outright say it. Watch the video. He didn't say her name, but he was like,
child. He didn't say that she did it. Like he wasn't trying to necessarily straight up say her name,
but it's weird. That, okay, I'm not trying to do that either. But I'm saying the way he worded it, it sounded like he was relating
I don't know
his
if anyone else would have had children with.
Exactly. It was like he was relating his experience to the one, like when he was born, to his child's. Like there's probably talk, Kim Kardashian, she's known for her figure, and women don't always keep their figures after they get pregnant, whatever. That's fine. That's nature. That's the way things work. But you can't sell things on a magazine that much, like in modern day.
Plastic surgeons and shit. She's probably got plastic surgeons on speed dial, so she'll be all right.
But also the partying comes to an end a little bit too when you have a child. So
not when you're super rich, you always have someone to just nanny to take care of your kid. You gotta make sure it's an ugly ass nanny though, because we know what happened with Jude Law.
We're both speculating right here about Kim Kardashian. I just want to make that clear. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened with Kanye or Kim. I'm just saying that's the way I took it when I watched the video. So yeah, I'm not saying any of that stuff is fact, but watch the video yourself and I guess figure it out. I wasn't necessarily talking to you. I was talking to everyone in general.
Dishonesty is another thing I don't like about Trump. You seem to act like he's the only dishonest politician. You got to figure out what point is which dishonesty worse. Because if between Biden and Camilla, they have helped incarcerate a lot of people, including black people. She took bribe money from basically an attorney who was defending a priest for molesting kids. I mean, that's pretty dishonest. Does that somehow still better than Trump? I mean, at what point is enough enough? At what point does scale tip and you go, whoa, okay, this is where I draw the line.
I'm much more. Everyone was upset about Trump saying when you're a star, you can grab them by the, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was tacky. I'll give it that.
But let me say this. First of all, he thought that was said in private. That doesn't matter. He still said it. Second of all, if you're talking about an adult woman, it's still not right to just do that. But
it's a little better than a child, though. But
exactly, a little bit better than a child, especially if he's talking about models and stuff.
Someone talking about grabbing somebody by the hoo-ha has clearly never listened to Marines talk to each other. Okay, first off, guys and girls,
the whole.
We don't want you to know we say, a girl be like, ooh, I would do this and that to him, and who recorded Trump and kept it all those years to use later.
It was like Entertainment Tonight or something. Yeah.
Yeah, be suspicious of that. What kind of friends do you like? You gotta watch out for people who recorded, kept receipts that many years just to use them.
I'm not gonna lie.
Politician. Wow. Okay, so Philip Blair doesn't care that Camilla is throwing people in prison, and treat black people badly, and took bribe money from child molesters. Trump is the most dishonest politician in my life. All right, you know what? Okay.
Hey, I'm not here to argue, but I do want to know what he's trying to say when he says Trump is lying about the way I voted all my life. I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what that sentence means.
I'm a little confused by that.
If you can clarify that, please put it in the chat.
Politicians have been doing, and so many politicians have gone and molested kids on Epstein's Island, but nobody cares because Trump's dishonesty is magically much worse than molesting kids. So, I
see, not everyone is awake to that sort of thing, though. Not everyone knows or is willing to accept that these people are sick.
He didn't deny anything we said. He didn't deny the article that just showed that she took money from child molester. Like, he didn't deny any of that, but he still thinks Trump's way more corrupt than that. And I'm like, I mean, if
that's
they're trying
fine.
to argue somebody that the sky is blue and they won't go out and look, they'll just be like, no.
I mean, it's fine. He can have his own opinion.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, it's just astounding that he's not even like, yeah, that is pretty fucked up. None of it. I do care.
I agree. I mean, that's that issue that we're dealing with on a mass scale, though, trying to get people to realize that the people in office are sick, disgusting people, and they don't want to look into that. They don't want to admit. They don't want to see it. It's for some people, it is too much for them to handle. They can't handle it emotionally, or they don't want to think about that. They want to stay in their little fairy tale world where everything is nice. Their politics care about them.
But you got to figure out how much do you care about that? Because if enough people cared, a third party would have a chance. But since everybody said, "Oh, a third party can't win," nobody votes for them. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, my dear. You know what? I think I'll vote for Kanye West. I think I'll activate my voting card has not been used since 2008, so it's been deactivated. I think I'll vote for Kanye. Why not?
I will say I understand what. There you go. Right in. I will say this: Philip has clarified what he's saying. He votes by mail, and he's accusing Trump of trying to, like we were talking about earlier with Jamie dumbass Lee Curtis. They think they're trying to get the mail to stop so ballots won't be sent out. Now, look, Philip, I've also voted absentee before in my life, but guess what? I have no problem driving my ass to the polls and doing it in person either, if that's the way I got to do it to make sure it's legit. So, the amount of fraud we're going to see, it doesn't matter. Okay, let me ask you this, Philip.
There is fraud. There's fraud with the mail-in, and there's also fraud with the machines because people, like last election, the election before that even, reported they would do their thing, punch it, and it would show a check mark in the wrong place where they didn't put it.
Yep.
So
I remember that.
Whether it's mail-in or electronic, we have an issue here. There's just
absolutely
behind it.
There's issues
got this time. But
I will say this:
last time a president did one term. Every president gets 2 terms.
Philip, I want to ask Philip this. Can I ask him this question? I want to know if he mails in his vote and Trump still gets elected, how much are you going to blame that on fraud? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know, the general consensus of people voting for Biden who mail in votes, and if Trump gets elected, how much are you going to blame that on fraud? Are you going to blame it on fraud, or are you going to admit that Trump won, or are you going to, what's your view on that? I'm curious about. Oh, I've already said that. Yeah, both sides are going to claim fraud either way, but
right.
It's a matter of how you view it.
Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago. There was an article that said, "What is Trump going to do if he loses the election?" So I looked at the camera. I was like, I guess he could just tour around the country for the next 2 years, complaining that he lost, and write a book like Hillary, and then continued on to the article.
Make more money touring than a president. Yeah, like Obama, making millions and millions and millions.
I don't remember who it was, but someone said if you enter politics and come out rich, you're a crook.
Oh, it's It's kind of like be the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, sort of thing. I guess.
Oh God, that's often true. Yes, and some seem to start out as villains, like straight up. Like,
oh yeah, some people are just bad eggs. Some people are bad eggs all around.
Indeed. Hey, Slash wants to know if you'll be streaming later. Still.
I don't know about tonight. I'm thinking about Friday, tomorrow night or Friday is when I'm thinking about doing it, because I've been on here for a little bit now. I got some stuff I got to take care of around the house. Oh, I'm excited to stream with him too. Let's try to set that up for tomorrow night or Friday. All right. I don't want to do 2 streams tonight, particularly. I'm pretty tired, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm having a great time here.
He's been awesome.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
He's been my YouTube ride or die since like.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Friday, he's busy Friday, so we'll try to do it tomorrow night. Okay. I'm busy. I'm not busy tomorrow night, and I'm off on Friday, so I can have like a little bit of time tomorrow night to not worry about like heading to bed or whatever, stuff like that. So let's plan for tomorrow night. All right, Slasher. And also, if you're available, Moira?
Possibly, we'll see what happens. At the very least, send me YouTube links and come visit. Like, I don't, like, it depends on what y'all are talking about or, like, what's going on in the house, whatever.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I will
Like, I'm
send
not
a
good
link
at
regardless.
planning shit. Like, I was able to plan yours because you were like, I'll be off at this time. And I'm like, okay, then I can set it for this time. But usually, if I'm left to my own devices and I'm up here by myself, it's anywhere from between 1 and like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. that I'm going to broadcast. And you may or may not have warning. I may or may not have a warning.
I did want to say I appreciate that you accommodated my schedule. I there's no way I can do a stream between 1 and 4 p.m. I work all throughout the week.
I was like, well, everybody's kind of used to my unpredictability anyway. So I'd let everybody know, we'll be running a little bit later than normal. We have a special guest coming. And I said that because I didn't know if you'd show or not. And so, like, I'd be like, darn it, I got to find someone else. Shit.
Let me tell you this. I always show. I might be close on time, but I always show. And if I don't, I will let you know as soon as I can. I'm not an asshole like that. I communicate with people.
Well, I've been
I make sure
before, and they either just didn't show up or they told me they couldn't. And so
I understand.
I'm always kind of worried that if I say there's going to be a special guest and they don't show, that it looks bad. And I'm like,
oh, absolutely. But yeah, I try to communicate as much as I can because I don't want to be left in that position myself. So I don't want to do that to other people. And the fact that you accommodated my schedule, I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to do my best.
It wasn't too much. It was only maybe an hour or so out of like normal, so it wasn't super bad. And like I said, everybody's kind of used to my unpredictability. They have to go. It's like, oh, I got to know. Okay, oh, guess Moore's going to be on in 30 minutes. All right, so shit.
Yeah, so, I will say this. There was not a minute to spare between me getting off work and getting to the stream. Though I had to fly home. Oh, thank you. I appreciate. Like I said, I don't wear a polo around my house. This is my work shirt, but so that might make me look a little bit more presentable than a t-shirt. But I do appreciate the comment. Thank you.
I wear tank tops and t-shirts. I don't give a damn.
Oh, I typically do on my stream, but like I said, I just didn't change.
Proposals, ideas, and record in Congress. Tulsi. I know that name, but I don't know much about her. Tulsi's been fantastic on human rights and civil rights. Oh, that does sound good. I'll have to look more into who that is. But Philip Blair likes someone other than Trump, other than Biden, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, Philip said he doesn't like Hillary either. So I mean, I feel like he's
that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty level-headed because I get aggravated at both sides all the time. I totally get where he's coming from, but
yeah,
but I know where it's going.
You just got to figure out which one's the least criminal to deal with.
I know where my vote is going though, so that's it. Yeah, it ain't for Biden. I
made special playlist UFOs and wisdom. I don't have a channel yet.
Oh, someone asked him if he had a YouTube channel. Well, Philip, I suggest you make one and get your voice out there. I suggest you make one and you start streaming.
And the government just recently released the existence of UFOs, so you're good to go.
Oh yeah. Now that's it got overlooked. They finally come out and like.
I did not overlook it. I know.
I didn't either.
I even actually had it on one of my newscasts. It was mentioned. I was like, I even told them a story. Like, I told the audience, I was like, when I was a little kid, my dad told me a story of he was stationed at not Fort Sill, that's in Oklahoma, Fort Smith in Arkansas, that he had seen some strange lights in the sky moving around, and they sent some planes or helicopters or something up to chase the lights around. And they went later on the next day, the base basically announced that it was Rainmaker's chemicals catching the light and stuff, and that's what everybody saw. And my dad's like, yeah, because he sent up aircraft that chase Rainmaker's chemicals and fumes. Yeah, of course, sure. All right,
see,
cool story, bro.
They will always find an excuse. I said they'll always find an excuse to explain it away.
You would have thought they would come up with something a little bit better, but okay. But I'm not neurotypical. More Kitty, I don't really fit in any box. Yeah.
That's great. I love to hear that, Philip. I love to hear that you don't fit into a box. That means you're your own person, and I totally support that. My last live stream a couple nights ago was totally about that. I respect that, bro. We might not agree with it on everything, but guess what? I respect you if you got your own opinion and you stick by it and you know how you feel. I'm not going to try to change your mind, but
okay. All right, I remember what I was going to say. Oh.
I will. I'll get.
Tulsi destroyed Harris, then Hillary Rodham Clinton within a month. Sounds like my kind of girl. Tulsi sounds badass. But
Yeah.
Oh, the UFO thing. Yeah, I didn't. That's like I thought it was a little strange. So I didn't necessarily not believe my dad, but it's kind of like I'd rather see it myself. But I believe the possibility because even now, even on this planet, we find like new species of different sorts that we didn't know existed or thought were extinct. And so it'd be arrogant to assume that this planet is the only planet with any life anywhere. That seems absolutely arrogant to assume that. So I assumed there was something, whether that looked like little gray men. God help me, I hope they're not face huggers. Whatever. But like, to assume that there's not some kind of upright walking life of some kind somewhere seems silly.
So,
but
I'm sorry.
I saw something July 4th, 2012 or 11. No, 2011, and I was hanging out with some friends, and they were drinking. I wasn't because I only like tequila, and they had beer. I hate fucking beer, so I was sober.
Cheers.
Sadly, and so we were watching fireworks off in the distance, and it looked like an ember that kept flying, but it was moving erratically. And it got closer, so it was like over us. And it was shaped like a teardrop from what I could see. And I'm like, and it stopped. It almost like a light switch disappeared. And then like over here reappeared. It was moving, like I said, very erratically and strange. And I'm like, are y'all seeing this shit? And they're like, yeah, but we don't know what it is. I'm like, okay, so I'm not hallucinating. We're seeing it. And then it's like, and gone. No sound. It didn't even look aerodynamic by any means. But it was like the color of fire. Like it was like that kind of orangish yellow. It looked like fire. I thought it was an ember at first, but a big one. But the way it was just moving around, like things don't just move around like that. And I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, it was like teardrop shaped. It was the
I gotta tell you,
shape.
not necessarily the teardrop aspect of it, but I've seen on two different occasions pretty much exactly what you were just describing to me. One night,
like whether or not they got the FAA lights, that are regulated for any aircraft. None.
No, what you're talking about, how they would like kind of like fade out and then it reappear somewhere else. It was a clear night. There's no clouds.
Off, and then over here,
and it would be over here, and then it would move a little bit. I saw one split apart in two lights. I saw one split apart into two lights.
Fuck. So it's like it
then
be detached from it.
It's like it had a second part of it. Yeah, and I'm not saying. I mean, that's just what I saw. It just looked like part of it, like a second.
Hey, I saw what looked like a flying teardrop. I mean, that doesn't sound any better, so don't worry. I'm saying, like, how does that thing even fly? It doesn't have any propellers, no wings. It's not aerodynamic. What the fuck am I seeing? Like, it did not make any kind of sense to me.
And I felt like before that happened, there was another time I saw something pretty crazy. I was taking my dog out one night to go to the bathroom. It was late, and I had a pretty clear view of the sky. Now, I will say this. There was a little bit of cloud coverage, but that has nothing to do with what I saw, because you'll understand what I'm saying about that in just a moment when I describe it. I saw, like you said, it looked like a burning ember. Like it had a very orangish tint to it. And I literally watched this thing go from one end of the horizon all the way to the other end of the horizon in about 10, 12 seconds. It was enough where I could stare at it as it was flying by, but it was way too fast for absolutely any kind of aircraft to go from that horizon to that horizon without making a sound. And it was not that high above me. It was right in the clouds. And there's no possible way that this thing was not traveling like 5,000 miles an hour. I could watch it, but like it was so fast, there's not a chance that it was any kind of actual aircraft. Like you can, at airplane, you stare at it forever, because if you can actually look at it. This thing is about 10 seconds.
It has to be a certain height. It has to be flying at a certain altitude. which your thing,
Well,
Kelly, was not at that altitude.
let me tell you this. It wasn't just something I saw and like disregarded. It was so uh it was so obvious that it shook me up that night. I literally started crying because I was like, holy shit, I just fucking saw it. Like I got the proof now, at least if I saw it, no one else did, but I know what I saw, and I know that there's some crazy shit out there, you know?
Right?
And I went inside. I wrote in my journal every detail I could think of about it. I think the journal's in my bedroom right now. But yeah, I wrote down that night. I think it was about 5 years ago. I didn't cry, I didn't like bawl my eyes out. I was overcome by so much stuff, like these feelings of like, holy shit, I finally fucking saw something. I was just like, it's real, like, or something.
Wow.
I don't know if it's aliens, but there is something out there that we are not being told.
Yeah, it's something we just saw something we weren't privy to. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very weird for me because, I mean, I always thought there was probably something, but I didn't think I'd actually ever see it. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't the only one. I mean, they were half drunk, but I was sober, but we still saw it. Like, so,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, and sadly at the time, I had a shitty ass phone, so I couldn't take any video. And yeah, so I was like,
I did take video. The one where they split apart, I did take video of that. I think I still have it somewhere. You can hear me freaking out. I don't have it uploaded. Yeah, I'll try to find. It's on my old cell phone that's in my room. I'll try to fucking charge that bad boy up and get those videos for you. I'll send them to you as soon as I can get that. Thing is that battery in that phone
does. Throw them on yours on this channel at some point. Like,
okay, I might do that. Thing is, I mean, they're not great videos. But you can hear my voice. I'm talking during it. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. I was like, oh, look at this, you know. And there were 3 other people out there. They saw
we never actually get to meet the person who's filmed it.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see some stuff, but it's not like it's like little dots, you know. Like it's an iPhone. You can't zoom in on the stuff, you know. It's just little dots that you can see moving.
Mine was like just shy of a shitty flip phone that I had.
That's why I didn't put it.
There was no filming anything that 2011.
Yeah, like I mean that was before you had HD.
I'd be able to zoom in on that bad boy and everything. I got 13 megapixels of this bitch. Like, but where is it now? Damn it! But yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to dig this stuff up. But yeah, okay, whether it's aliens or not, I like to think it's aliens, but I like to keep my mind open.
Because it's still an unidentified flying object. And since you can't technically identify what object it is, it technically does fall under UFO.
Exactly, but a UFO doesn't necessarily mean that it's alien either.
That's
you know what I mean?
But it is still an unidentified flying object that cannot be explained.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my back.
That's true.
Oh, my God. I feel like an old lady. Well,
I'm feeling you, too. I'm feeling that back.
We've been here like 3 hours. My back is dying. I have a sound treat involving UFOs back in 2003 and wrote it down after I woke up. That is cool, Philip.
All right, I'm ready to go. My back feels better. Let's do this.
Oh, and Darth is inviting Philip to hang out on his channel. Very cool. It's nice seeing everybody like mingling nicely. God, my back. Holy shit. There's like one person that can actually pop my back correctly, and I'm not on speaking terms with them anymore. Fuck. Damn it.
I like to do a twist. You twist one way, and then you turn your head the other way.
My shoulder blades.
Well,
it's between my shoulder blades, so like I have to be kind of like lifted up, pop it. There's no twisting that part.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about that.
And the kids are too big now. I miss when my daughter was small enough she could walk on my back. Now I think I'd die.
Break you.
But she weighs like 100 pounds. She thinks she's big because she weighs 100 pounds. I'm like, you're 13. What do you want to be? 50 pounds? Come on. You'd be a skeleton.
Yeah.
You're too young to worry. Well, actually, no. It seems that teenagers a lot. But I'm like, you are not bad. Do not worry. You're fine. You look down and see your feet. You're still good to go. Okay. Like, like you got like. She's like, well, I need to have a better diet. I'm like, okay, well, we could stop by you not harassing me anymore for those fucking talkies.
There's a good though. There's a good.
Yeah, because she harasses me. I'm like, they have MSGs. I don't want you eating that shit. So, like, she gets it every little once in a while, and it like feels dirty inside if I let her. And so she's like, I need a better diet. Like, well, you can cut those shitty ass chips out for one. How's that? If that's what you want. Because eating better is good for you in general, not just like weight loss, but to be healthy. So,
yeah. Helps your attitude. It helps your mental awareness, your fitness. It doesn't. You feel
so attitude adjustment is required. I told her she's going to get like these little like spinach smoothies if she doesn't stop pissing me off.
Yeah, a nice little hit her a kale there. You know, give her some kale, see how she likes
that thing. Yeah. Face huggers, the best mask for rioters ever. That's the best mask. That's that, man.
That's comment of the night right there. Comment of the night. Damn, I wish I'd thought of that one. That's a hell of a joke. I'll give you a point for that, Darth.
We'd all need masks. Like, no. Like,
That is great.
Oh, it's nothing to it. It's just like being on here, only you're up here instead of in the chat, but you're still saying what you think.
Let me tell you this, Philip. Before I got on YouTube, I was always reluctant to do so because I thought that I'd seen the hate that people got from being on YouTube, and I was like, well, I'm prime target. I'm fresh meat for any kind of insults or anything people want to throw at me. But guess what? The thing that happens when you actually get on YouTube and you start speaking your mind and you start communicating with people who are like-minded like you start making friends. And you start, they accept you. People will accept you for whoever you are. And you shouldn't feel any kind of...
There will be haters.
Yeah.
But it will separate the haters, and the ones who like you will really like you. And
yeah, I'm not going to lie. There will be haters. There will be. But you gotta have thick skin. You gotta ignore them. You got to keep on your own path, all right? I suggest you do it, bro.
But just think of yourself as a shining beacon, and those who are interested in answering will come to you.
Especially if you have a unique perspective. You know, and I feel like you might. So I definitely encourage you.
Indeed.
I encourage anyone to speak their mind. I'm not about suppressing. Even if I don't agree with you, I don't care. Still say what you got to say.
Right.
Do it within your rights, but say
what
you got to say.
Yeah. I mean, your rights don't end where someone else's feelings begin, and the other way around, too. So, like, sometimes if you don't like something, you just just walk away from the channel. Be like, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here for this anymore. And that be that, you know? But, yeah.
Sith Lord says, as far as I know, nobody hates me. Well, I do. So you got your first one. I don't even know who you are, but you got to earn my respect now.
You know, Sith Lord. You like
I'm joking.
Oh, but the same.
He's gonna take me off the stream. He's gonna take me off the stream.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know you, man. I can't hate you. That was just a joke. So actually, I love you. Until further notice.
Yeah, but yeah, he mods on Mary's channel.
Yeah, he says I know him.
Han's
Did you change your name? Did you change your name?
JJ. He just added the JJ.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. The JJ is the same with Tommy. Tom changed his name to Guinea Pig Layer or whatever it was, and that threw me off. I've been out of the loop too long.
Collective, not Guinea Pig Layer. What the fuck?
What was it? Oh, Collective.
Not Layer. Not
like Layer better.
Jesus.
No, I meant like a layer, like a L-A-I-R.
Worked out the AKA JJ AKA part. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's Sith Lord.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I didn't mean layer. I meant layer, like an area, like a place, like a dungeon, like a layer.
Oh, okay. A layer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I said. I didn't mean he was engaging with guinea pigs in a natural way. All I meant was he collected them and had a place for them.
The Guinea Pig Collective, the army of board simulated guinea pigs.
Wow.
It's a whole cute story there.
I'd watch
it. Yeah. Never mind biker mice from Mars. Fuck them. We got Borg guinea pigs. That's where it's at.
Fuck Ratatouille. Fuck Ratatouille.
Ratatouille's going
Mickey
to be
Mouse, go to
simulated
hell.
too. He'll be simulated as well.
Make way for the guinea pig layer. I mean, collective. Why do I keep saying that? Why do I keep saying that? I don't know why that's in my head.
Oh, hugs, Ian. Thank you. Mwah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ian. I appreciate it, bro. Great
I
chat.
wouldn't
Great
doubt,
chat.
though, Tommy, that's messed up.
Philip Blair says, look up James E. McDonald. I'm going to look him up right now. For after the show, I can get some research on that. Thank you for that tip, bro. I appreciate it. I'm always about
something. I too will argue with anybody about anything. Yes. Well, usually. I technically could, but
yeah. If you ever want to get with me,
well, if I think you're wrong, I'll argue with you. But yeah, I don't think you've been wrong yet.
Philip, if you ever want to give me a tip on some information, that's what I'm all about. I'm here to learn. I'm here to research. I'm here to figure things out and try to get my best perspective on this world that I can in a way that makes sense to me. So if anyone has any information they want to send me at all about any subject that I might be interested in or you think is interesting, go ahead and send it. I will look into it because I want to know as much as I can in this world. So I appreciate every time someone, that's why I always encourage people to leave comments on my videos because I want to learn. I want to know things. Even if I don't agree with you or if I don't think it's real, I don't care. I still want that information given to me. I still want it. So thank you.
I need to grab some coffee real quick. Or do you want to wrap up the stream because I'm dying?
We're 3 hours in. I'd say we should wrap it up. I'd probably take my dog out and go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh,
it's been great, though.
That dog's probably sitting there going,
I took her out. She's good. She's good. She's right back there. She's sleeping. Yeah, hopefully she's sleeping. Yeah, she's still breathing. Yeah.
Got camouflaged in a little bit.
She is my entire world. That dog is. I love her more than anything on this planet. She is the greatest thing. She is the biggest sweetheart. She's my best friend. I love that dog to death. Yeah. There you go. She's blew you a kiss. She's asleep. I'll give it to her later for you. All right.
Well, okay, to the dog too, but I was saying kiss to Mikey for saying nice things.
Oh, okay. Well, you blew it in her direction, so.
Oh, okay. It accidentally shot over Mikey and got your dog. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Well, hey, Mikey, thank you. Appreciate it.
I identified the cat, so like nobody can ever go and say I like kisses to a puppy. Like, I got a reputation.
You gotta stick with it.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. The Dalai Lama disagrees with his friends just to keep the discussion going deeper. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
I'm not well versed on the Dalai Lama. That's something I can't really speak much on. I know he's got a huge religious influence. I should probably look into that as well. So thank you for that tip. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna look more into Dalai Lama now too. The 14th one.
Oh, back. Oh,
he doesn't have a name. He's just number 14. They don't have names. That's
he was born with a name, and then he was more or less selected. You have to pass certain tests to show that you were the other Dalai Lama that has been reincarnated.
Is it like the Black Panther? You got to fight to the death?
No. It'd be something like picking, like there'd be like a bunch of objects in front of you, and like if you happen to pick the objects that belong to the original Dalai Lama, it would be said that that you were drawn to them because they were yours in that past life. For instance, it'd be different stuff. Like I think that's just one of them, but I think there's others.
I mean, well, everyone hits a Yahtzee every now and then, but it doesn't make you the Dalai Lama. That's a joke. Never mind.
Apparently, I really got to Mikey on that one.
Oh yeah, that's a great quote. Yeah.
I might die if people start making shirts that I quoted that. Like that's gotta be weird. I'd be like, what?
I want that quote that says "Face huggers make the best masks for writers."
That
I want
would
a
be
bumper
pretty good
sticker
too.
of that with a little picture of a face hugger. Dude, you better start selling that. I'm not gonna steal that idea, but it's great. I love it. I love it, man.
Indeed.
If I ever use that joke, I guarantee I'll credit you for it because I love that joke. Love it.
Oh, my back is dying, you guys. I'm sorry. So, anyway, thank you all for showing up. This is literally the longest newscast I have ever had because usually I keep it about like I think the longest is 15 minutes, and usually they stay about 8 or 9 minutes. So,
Holy moly, we're like it's like I know you're not into hockey probably, but I'm a big hockey fan. I like the Columbus Blue Jackets, and last night their game went into 5 overtime. So it was a 6-hour hockey game. It's kind of like what happened here. We're in about our
oh
5th
my
overtime.
God, those guys had been worn out.
Yeah. So
I'd
it's
be
like
kinda
our
worn
5th
out. Like,
or
I'll be
your 5th
honest, like,
overtime.
shit.
It was the second longest hockey game of all time. And I was sick of watching hockey. Are you reading that quote? Oh, yeah, I imagine that's for me. Yeah. Like I said, I do appreciate every single thing. I will go to that website as well. So right now on my tabs, I got like Tulsi Gabbard, I got Dalai Lama. I'm gonna have this up there. I'm gonna do some research tonight because that's what I love to do. Stanford EDU. Isn't Stanford one of the Ivy Leagues?
Yep.
All right, we'll see if I trust it, but I'll still look at it. I'll still look at it.
He's like, I'll still look at it.
I'll look at anything, you know. I make my own judgment, but I always appreciate the tip. I always do.
Oh, my back. But we're all super excited that y'all came by. Goodness gracious, y'all hung in there for the long haul. Holy shit. Oh, I barely did. Oh my gosh. I thought we might go an hour or so. I didn't know we were going to hit like almost like over 3 hours. Like, wow.
I was just here for the ride and I loved it. It seems like everyone else is having a good time too. So I consider this a success.
Yay.
Personal.
That was a little too chipper. Sorry.
As long as I don't feel like I'm hurting your channel, I feel like it's a success.
No. You've kept me in the double digits this whole time.
All right, good. I don't think it was. It's not me, but
you certainly didn't run them off.
Okay, well, fair enough. We'll say that. We'll say at least that I didn't run them off.
Okay, it went to 9. All right, Colin's just being spiteful. It went to 9 now. Okay.
Yeah, because we said we're logging off. Yeah, we're wrapping up.
Yeah. That is that. Yeah. So, anyways, we love you all. Mwah. And I don't expect you to blow kisses to them, obviously, but.
You. Take a bow.
Cowboys shouldn't kneel. What? Oh,
he's talking
okay. Okay. Sorry, I just saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that just seemed random. I didn't know where that came from. And I'm like.
They're in a conversation about Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Don't make me stay here for another hour. Okay, hold up. First off, kneeling is part of First Amendment speech and expression. And nobody threw this much big of a hissy fit when that one football player would kneel and pray before the game. Okay, some did, though. The people who were protecting his freedom of speech and doing so are the same ones crucifying the others for their freedom of speech because it's not what they like or want to hear. Now, our freedom of expression is supposed to be a two-way street. And oftentimes it's going to be stuff we don't like. It doesn't mean they don't have that right. So, and I forget his name, but whoever the football player is that would kneel and pray.
Colin Kaepernick.
No, he didn't pray. He was doing it in protest. No, there was another football player who was a few years ago. I forget his name. But he would kneel and pray right before the game, and some people kind of got upset about it.
Oh, it was Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, yes. Tim Tebow. Well, Tim Tebow has the same right to First Amendment expression and speech as the other football players. And if he wasn't banned from the NFL for doing it, these guys shouldn't be either. Now, it should be up to the individual teams and their managers to discuss it, but the NFL as a whole should not try to take away someone's right to freedom of expression or speech.
Here's my thing. Here's my argument on that. While I do agree with you, here is my argument, okay?
Oh, yes, this right here.
What's up? Does it feel better? Feeling that? Oh, I agree with him completely. I agree with that statement 100%. But let me say this. Let me say this, though. It is your right to kneel and everything. But they're not kneeling as private citizens. They're kneeling as people on the job, on TV, as influencers. Well, and I'm not talking either way.
What do other people on TV and influencers do? They use their First Amendment speech to portray to the world what they believe and what they feel.
Exactly, but they're paid to play football, and they're using that advantage to them.
Tim Tebow. So was Tim Tebow, and he did it on the.
I know. I'm agreeing with that. I'm not singling out one side. I'm not. I'm saying in general.
They threatened to ban him for praying. Holy shit! The entire Midwest and the South would have rose up in a hissy. Truth be told.
I mean, I agree. You should have the right to kneel. But what I'm saying is, whenever it's a little bit different when you're in a position of power to have influence over people. I'm not saying that doesn't give you the right to not speak your mind. Well, what I'm saying is, you got to be careful.
So yeah,
you got to be careful.
Then I assume that nobody else will be kneeling and praying before the game either. I assume.
I have nothing against kneeling and praying. I kneel and pray every night.
Saying, I assume so.
I don't do it on TV.
Well, this is the NFL's time, and there's no time for freedom of speech on the sidelines before the game. Then I assume that's for all.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Protection under the law, others not.
We agree 100% on this. I'm just coming from a different angle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just coming from. I totally agree with everything that you're. I agree with Philip Blair. No one should be banned nor forced. There shouldn't be a stigma attached to if you do one thing or another.
Right.
There's going to be. There's no way around it.
Because they were told to get upset because the media showed them this and knew it would get them riled.
Absolutely.
And that's people had just ignored it. If you don't like it, ignore it. This is one of those situations where you actually can ignore something and it might actually go away. Because the football player is in your TV hundreds of miles away, and it's not going to actually affect your life personally unless you let it. And they got upset because they were told to get upset. It's be indignant. And that's why they got so damn mad. And they got so bad that they wanted to boycott Nike for giving this guy endorsements. Where I don't recall anybody, I don't know if Tim Tebow had any endorsements. He may have. He's a football player. But I didn't see anybody wanting his endorsements taken away for praying because they were offended by him praying. So we should do that.
My biggest issue is that Nike endorsed him even though he's a shitty player. Just because of his stance. That's my issue. If you want to endorse an athlete who's actually good at playing football, go ahead. But if you're just going to endorse him because of his political stance, no, I don't agree with that.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Especially if you're a shoe company.
Managers to talk to their players about it. But
especially if you're a shoe company that has fucking sweatshops in Vietnam in China, in Thailand making your fucking shoes, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to Apple bitch about anything. I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Upset, but actually trying to ruin someone's livelihood, that's taking your freedom of speech a little far. Because they weren't trying to ruin anyone's livelihood. They just wanted to do a silent protest about police brutality, and the whole thing just spun completely out of fucking control. It's like just give them a couple of minutes, they'll be done, they'll play the game.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be, they didn't, right before they going to, do a field goal, they just suddenly stop and drop. They don't know. It was before the game. They didn't stop in the middle of the game.
I feel like some people, just like the left, get triggered at things. There are people on the right who get triggered at things that they feel are anti-American.
They both get triggered, and they both accuse the other of the very same. The only difference is different stuff triggers. That's it. But
there you go. You refreshed. Can you repeat that? You refreshed on my screen. I don't know if you did on the actual one, but I didn't hear your last sentence. Could you repeat it?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember. It was
That's
just flowing out with the spirit, and I just like, yeah, I don't. Fuck.
feeling the spirit.
Hallelujah. Anywho, but anyways, this time possibly for real. We do gotta go. My back is killing me. I may need kids to. My neighbor's here, so her little girl is only about 4, so she might be able to actually walk on my back. So I'm gonna go find a very tiny little chiropractor and like throw away my food trash and everything because I peppered out in front of everybody because I'm dying.
We couldn't see it.
I don't know how you can miss a burger the size of my face.
So yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
It was super awesome. This is even more fun than I realized it was gonna be. Like, holy cow! Except for my back hurting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be fun, but
back to like part of my chest. I'm like, oh.
I know people who I can kind of like be on the same wavelength with, so I was really looking forward to this stream. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be good.
So. I was super excited because at the very least, like it'd go about an hour. It may not have been the smoothest, but it wouldn't be too bad. But yeah. So.
Well, the thing is,
weather and have like how's weather in New York and have poor Slasher like out in the rain going, it fucking sucks. Thank you, Slasher. You know, I mean, just has like funny ass shit, kind of like that Family Guy. And it's like, what's happening outside? It's raining.
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
Where's the umbrella? 2 miles that way. Need soup, chunk it. You know, that'd be that. You know, just add that kind of humor to it, like.
Absolutely. I mean, and like, not toot my own horn here, but you ask someone on your show who knows this is my alley. You know what I mean? So like, I'm very well versed in this, so I can kind of hold my own a little bit on some of these subjects.
Oh, you did fine, and that's and this is some truth. This was some propaganda I was fed in the early 2000s as well, and sadly I went with it. I thought Bush was doing the right thing by getting, and then I started realizing, wait a minute, this is lasting kind of long. Wait a minute. This is getting kind of weird. How come this is going on? Why are we not done? And here we are, and soldiers in the beginning, their sons and children have grown up, and now they can enlist to fight in the same war. That's a war that lasted too long.
Yeah.
Oh,
generation.
So it was Saudi nationals that we found the passport of. All right, let's go attack Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya. Let's go do that. Good idea. Let's get every single country but the one the passport actually came from. Bingo. Nice idea. Lovely. Holy fuck. Anyways, we love y'all.
Yeah. 9/11 is a whole nother 3-hour stream. I don't want to get into right now. 4-hour stream.
But don't worry, we'd be shut down after hour 1.
Oh yeah. Was it building 7? I'm not even going to start. I'm going to shut my. I'm going to shut my mouth.
We're totally not going to start. But what hit the
I'm not going to
pin
start
was
it.